Hello, today we'll be talking about Latias. Wait, we're talking about Latios first? Well, anyway, it's the first of two Dragon Psychic Pokémon as of the filming of this, with the other being its male counterpart, Latios. Latios' previous BYC dates are March 12th, 1997, January 1st, 2000, October 22nd, 2002, August 12th, 2005, June 2nd, 2008, March 24th, 2011, January 12th, 2014, November 2nd, 2016, August 24th, 2019, and June 14th, 2022. I'm surprised we're talking about Latios first, as it doesn't seem to follow the established rules, or does it? It follows the Nidoran rules of gender, where the female is first, but it goes against the Volbeat/Illumise rule of having the male come first. It could be following the alphabet rule set by Lunatone and Solrock, but not all pairs follow this, with Plusle and Minun, for instance, being reverse alphabetical. But it might also be following what Plusle and Minun are doing, with the red one being before the blue one. I was thinking it could be a reference to the order of the games, at least in English, Ruby and Sapphire, with Latias being the one on Southern Island in Ruby, and Latios being the one on Southern Island in Sapphire. But as you'll see in a couple days, Kyogre and Groudon don't do this. This is all to say that I don't really know why we're talking about Latios first, but we are! I like the design of Latios. I think it's very unique. I also love the design of Mega Latios, and I honestly thought, before doing this project, that Mega Latios and Mega Latios looked the same, and that the joke was that you got the same Pokemon regardless, since Latios and Latias look so similar. I like that Mega Latias and Mega Latios are purple, a mix of the two colors. I most know Latias from Pokémon Heroes, the movie, where Latias and Latios are the featured legendary Pokemon in the movie. I also know Latias from Pokémon Cafe Remix, where, like Plusle and Minun, I didn't recruit Latias and Latios at the same time, so I was excited when I got Latias, having already gotten Latios. Anyway, let's get into the Bulbapedia article. Hello and welcome to the Bulbapedia section of the video. Today we talk about Latios, the Eon Pokemon, whose number is 0380. This is Latios, this is what it looks like. This is Mega Latios, this is what it looks like. Type is Dragon Psychic. Since this is our first Dragon Psychic type Pokemon, I'll point out the Dragon inside and the Psychic outside. Ability, Levitate. Gender ratio is 100% female. Catch rate is 3 or 1.6%. Breeding, egg group, no eggs discovered. Hatch time 120 cycles. Egg not obtainable. As Latios, it's 4'7" or 1.4 meters and 88.2 pounds or 40 kilograms. As Mega Latios, it's 5'11" or 1.8 meters and 114.6 pounds or 52 kilograms. Its Megastone is Latiosite. Basic experience yield is 211 in Gen 3 through 4 and 270 in 5+. Leveling rate is slow. EV yield is 3 and special defense. Shape is that. Footprint is that. Pokedex color is red. Other forms may have other colors and base friendship is 90. Latios is a dual type Dragon/Psychic legendary Pokemon introduced in Gen 3. While it is not known to evolve into or from any other Pokemon, Latios can Mega Evolve into Mega Latios using the Latiosite. It is a member of the Eon duo along with Latios. Biology, Latios is a Pokemon with a bird-like body stylized after a plane. Its long neck stretches forward from its squat body. It has no legs, usually floating instead. The rear half of its body is largely red and the upper half white, with jet plane wings high on its rear and fins on the bottom near its tail. A blue triangle marks the center of its chest, while a red mark partially covers its face. Ear-like fins sit on top of its head, and its eyes are yellow. It has short, three-fingered arms with a red covering on the outer side of the lower arms. Latios is a female-only species, with Latios being its male counterpart. Latios ruffles its feathers and cries loudly when there is hostility toward it. Its glass-like downy feathers can enfold its body and refract light, which allows it to become invisible or alter its appearance. It is highly intelligent and can understand human speech. It is capable of using telepathy to communicate with others. In the 5th movie, Latios had the ability Sight Sharing, which allowed Latios and people around it to see exactly what Latios was seeing. Latios' invisibility powers: it normally does not make contact with humans or other Pokemon and disappears when an enemy is nearby. It forms herds with several members and is usually found near water. As seen in Pokemon Horizons, like other legendary Pokemon, Latios can be found in the Pokemon Paradise, Laqua. Latios loves Latios treats made by Snacksworth, who once encountered it in the past. Latios can be summoned by the Eon Flute. Latios is the only known Pokémon capable of learning the move Mist Ball. Forms: Latios can Mega Evolve into Mega Latios as Mega Latios. The red parts of its body change to purple. Horns grow from the side of its head and run along its jaw. It loses the wings on its back and similar, but larger wings attach to its lower arms, normally held in a level position. Triangle shapes now mark the forward point of its wings instead of its chest. Mega Latios is said to be one of the fastest Pokemon in existence. Mega Latios reach a speed of Mach 4 while outpacing a jet in flight due to being smaller than Mega Latios. Mega Latios is much more agile and can make very sharp turns. So you've got Mega Latios here. Game data, NPC appearances, Pokemon Pinball, Ruby and Sapphire. If the ball drops out of the Sapphire field while the Ball Saver is active, Latios will rescue it and place it on Spoink without the ball being lost. Pokemon Alpha Sapphire, the player can use the Eon Flute to fly around Hoenn on the back of a Mega Latios. Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, Red Rescue Team and Blue Rescue Team. After clearing Northern Range, the team go to Pitfall Valley to save Latios. She and Latios offer to join the team afterwards. Pokemon Super Mystery Dungeon, Latios is a minor character in the game and briefly appears alongside Latios where they are being chased. They are later turned to stone and their bodies fall to the ground. Pokedex entries in Gen 3 and Ruby. Latias is highly sensitive to the emotions of people. If it senses any hostility, this Pokemon ruffles the feathers all over its body and cries shrilly to intimidate the foe. Sapphire. Latias is highly intelligent and capable of understanding human speech. It is covered with a glass-like down. The Pokemon enfolds its body with its down and reflects light to alter its appearance. Emerald. They make a small herd of only several members. They rarely make contact with people or other Pokemon. They disappear if they sense enemies. Fire Red and Leaf Green. It can telepathically communicate with people. It changes its appearance using its down that refracts light. In Gen 4, Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, its body is covered with a down that can reflect light in such a way that it becomes invisible. Heart Gold and Soul Silver. It communicates using telepathy. Its body is covered in down that refracts light to make it invisible. The Gen 5 Pokedex entries are Diamond, Pearl, and Platinums. In Gen 6, X is Heart Gold and Soul Silver's entry. Y is Fire Red and Leaf Green's entry. Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire are basically Ruby and Sapphires, but Latios and Pokemon are now the correct casing. The Gen 8 Pokedex entry is its Diamond and Pearl counterpart. Game locations. In Pokemon Emerald, the roaming Pokemon is chosen in a sequence immediately after the credits where, after hearing a television report, the player is asked the color of the Pokemon in it. If red is selected, Latios roams Hoenn and Latios is found at the island. If blue is selected, Latios is found at the island and Latios roams Hoenn. Inside games, got all this. In events, you got all this. Held items in Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. The player must have selected the blue Pokemon after defeating the Elite Four for the first time. It has the Soul Dew 100% of the time. In Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, it has the Latiosite 100% of the time. In events, it has the Soul Dew 100% of the time, or the Gold Bottle Cap 100% of the time. Stats, base stats. We'll compare Latios and Mega Latios. So HP 80, that stays the same. Attack 80, that goes up to 100. Defense 90, that goes up to 120. A special attack 110, that goes up to 140. Special defense 130, that goes up to 150. Speed 110, that stays the same, so this one has a total of 600, and this one has a total of 700. Pokeathlon stats. Type effectiveness, damaged normally by normal, flying, poison, rock, and steel. Weak to bug, ghost, ice, dragon, dark, and fairy, all for double. Immune to ground, resistant to fighting, fire, water, grass, electric, and psychic, all for half. Notes, if gravity is in effect, this Pokemon is given an Iron Ball or affected by Smackdown or Ingrain. The opponent has the ability Mold Breaker, Turbo Blaze, or Terravolt, or this Pokemon is affected by Gastro Acid, or this Pokemon's abilities replace the effectiveness of Ground-type moves is 1, so go from 0 to 1. Learn set by leveling up, 1 Stored Power and Charm, 5 Helping Hand, 10 Recover, 15 Confusion, 20 Tailwind, 25 Dragon Breath, 30 Wish, 35 Mist Ball, 40 Zen Headbutt, 45 Dragon Pulse, 50 Heal Pulse, 55 Reflect Type, 60 Psychic, 65 Guard Split, and 70 Healing Wish. By TM001 Takedown, 2 Charm, 4 Agility, 7 Protect, 11 Water Pulse, 19 Disarming Voice, 22 Chilling Water, 23 Charged Beam, 25 Facade, 27 Aerial Ace, 28 Bulldoze, 32 Swift, 34 Icy Wind, 37 Draining Kiss, 40 Air Cutter, 41 Stored Power, 47 Endure, 49 Sunny Day, 50 Rain Dance, 51 Sandstorm, 54 Psyshock, 59 Zen Headbutt, 61 Shadow Claw, 65 Air Slash, 66 Body Slam, 70 Sleep Talk, 74 Reflect, 75 Light Screen, 77 Waterfall, 78 Dragon Claw, 81 Grass Dot, 82 Thunder Wave, 85 Rest, 97 Fly, 100 Dragon Dance, 103 Substitute, 109 Trick, 110 Liquidation, 112 Aura Sphere, 113 Tailwind, 114 Shadow Ball, 115 Dragon Pulse, 119 Energy Ball, 120 Psychic, 123 Surf, 126 Thunderbolt, 129 Calm Mind, 130 Helping Hand, 132 Baton Pass, 135 Ice Beam, 149 Earthquake, 152 Giga Impact, 156 Outrage, 163 Hyper Beam, 166 Thunder, 168 Solar Beam, 169 Draco Meteor, 171 Terra Blast, 172 Roar, 193 Weather Ball, 197 Dual Wing Beat, 200 Scale Shot, 203 Suck Up, 204 Double Edge, 208 Whirlpool, 217 Future Sight, 222 Breaking Swipe, 226 Dragon Cheer, and 227 Alluring Voice. By breeding, there's nothing side game data for Latias, so you got all this. Pokemon Ranger Guardian Signs. In the browser entry, it flies around quickly and launches auras of light. Got all this. Pokepark Wii, Pikachu's Adventure, in the Pokepark pad entry. Latias was drawn to the rainbow and came to the Pokepark with her brother. She found herself much admired for her aerial abilities at Pelipper's Circle Circuit. All this. Mega Latias, you got all this. Form data, Mega Evolution, Latias, Latiasite, Mega Latias. Evolution data is just Latias. Sprites here, so... Okay, I mean, a little bit maybe kind of harder to see the arms there. But yeah, I think it's kind of better in the back sprite. Interesting. Pretty much, not much change. The neck might be a little longer now. I don't know, shorter back then. This thing seems to be a little bit different, a little less pointy. The mask, I guess, or whatever you call that. The body also seems to be a little bit thicker, maybe. Gold for the shiny, and green for the eye. Interesting. Seems like it's also maybe a slightly different blue. In Gen 4, you can see it's a lot better model. You can see a lot more of that, details and stuff. This becomes green in Diamond and Pearl, and the eye becomes gold. But in Platinum, it's slightly different designed. It's a little bit smaller, I think, overall. And also the green eye comes back. But this is also just universally green now. And this, in Gen 5, the colors are slightly different now. Probably, I think for both, yeah. Not much changes though. The full back sprites as well. Okay. In Gen 6, you get the models. Pretty good adaptation, I'd say. Mega Latios models here. Yeah. Interesting. Shiny is green. That's kind of fun because of the green with the eyes and that. His eyes also seem to... It goes back... Oh, that's a fun little reference. It goes back to that light blue that was on the original sprite. That's fun. That the triangle was... Yeah, the triangle was on the original sprite. Anyway, original shiny sprite. Anyway. Gen 7, not really much changes. Yeah. Homes, you got these. Other sprites, Sapphire's intro sprite. An animation, Latios in Pokemon Journeys the series. The 5th movie, Latios, I guess is the big one, and I guess there's one in just the anime. Mega Latios in Hoopa and the Clash of Ages with Pikachu. And all these. Pokedex entries and Journeys, episode 137, in Team Rocket's Rotom Phone. Latios, the Eon Pokemon, a dragon and psychic type. Latios communicates motions through telepathy, and the feathers all over its body can refract light, making it virtually invisible. In short, it's a legendary Pokemon. Get it? Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire animated trailer. Mega Latios in the animated trailer with Mega Latios, Brandon, and May. Pokemon Generations. Latios in Pokemon Generations with Latios, Pikachu, and Vigoroth. Gotcha, I guess. I mean, the manga. Latios as a human in Pokemon Adventures. Interesting. Latios right and Latios left in Pokemon Adventures. The TCG and the TFG. Other appearances, Super Smash Bros. Brawl. After Latios appears from its Pokeball, she will fly off the stage. She and Latios will then alternately zoom onto the stage with Steel Wing, damaging any opponent that collides with them. She may also cause movement of items as well. Latios and Latios Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Trophy information, Latios appears with her counterpart, Latios. Eon Pokemon. They're only female Latios and only male Latios. If they sense the presence of a human or an enemy, they will generally use the light-bending trait of their down coats to make themselves invisible. They use telepathy to speak with companions. They travel in herds, but even so, are rarely seen. They're a combination of dragon and psychic types. Super Smash Bros. For Nintendo 3DS. Wii U, Latios returns as a Pokeball Pokemon. She uses Steel Wing to quickly fly across the stage several times to damage targets. Latios once again shares a trophy with her counterpart in both versions of the game. So you can see Latios and Latios trophy in Super Smash Bros. For 3DS. Trophy information in the North American version. Latios and Latios are Eon Pokemon. Both are Dragon/Psychic-type Pokemon. The red Latios is female, while the blue Latios is male. By folding in their arms, they can fly faster than fighter jets. They combine speed and teamwork when they cross paths to attack fighters with Steel Wing. In the PAL version, Latios and Latios are Eon Pokemon. Both are Dragon and Psychic types. The red Latios is female, while the blue Latios is male. By folding their arms in, they become super aerodynamic and can fly faster than fighter jets. They combine speed and teamwork when they cross paths to attack fighters with Steel Wing. In Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Latios returns as a Pokeball summon, retaining her behavior from past games. She also appears as a spirit alongside Latios. Eon Ticket, Latios is featured alongside Latios and the Vocaloids, Hatsune Miku, and Kato in the song Eon Ticket, composed by Marasi 8 for the Hatsu Miku Voltage Project. Trivia, Latias shares this category with Latios. They are both known as the Eon Pokemon. A pre-alpha sketch depicts an unused Pokemon or alternative form of Latios with the traits of both a Latios and a Blaziken. So you can see pre-alpha sketch of the unused Pokemon here. Latios is the last Gen 3 Pokemon to appear in an animated series episode, debuting in The Road Most Traveled. Origin, Latios and Latios appear to be a cross between a jet plane, due to their wings shape, and speedy flight, a dragon, a griffin, and a bird. Like many birds, Latios is said to possess down feathers. In particular, their lack of feet and continuous levitation might be inspired by the common swift, a bird with tiny feet. Its Latin name, apus, means without feet. That spends most of its life in the air. Similarly, they might be inspired by the martlet, a mythical bird in English heraldry that never roosts, and is usually depicted with tufts of feathers in place of feet. Their red and blue plumage might be based on parrots in the genus Eos. They could also be based on junglefowl due to their possible shared origin with Blaziken. Due to their classification as Eon Pokemon and their connection to the Soul Dew, Latios and Latios might be inspired by the Aeons in Gnosticism, which are said to be emanations of God. In Valentinianism, these Aeons form male/female pairs called syzygies. They may also be loosely based on the Chinese philosophical concept of the yin and yang, which are opposite but interconnected natural forces. Latios, being female and the more passive of the two, would represent yin. Their names and Latios' ability to refract light might also be a reference to Eos, the Greek goddess of dawn. Name origin, Latios may be a combination of latio, Latin for I conceal, I lie hidden, and os, Latin feminine suffix. It might also reference Eos, the Greek goddess of dawn, or Eos, a genus of parrots with red and blue plumage. It's possible that its name is derived from Plato's dialogue Critias. In other languages, references see also in legendary Pokemon, and Mega Evolutions, and the Super Smash Bros. Series. Let's move on. Let's watch the first scene of the anime featuring Latios. Hello and welcome to the anime portion of the video. Today we are watching Pokemon Heroes, the movie. We're at the beginning of the movie, so yeah, we'll start, I guess.
This is it. This is the book I was reading. Are you sure? Yes, it tells everything.
There they are, Latios and Latios.
Latios and Latias.
But also about the jewel, right?
Right. But the last chapter is what's really amazing.
What's in the last chapter?
Shh, hold on a sec.
Okay, I'll say that is the first scene of Latios in the anime. Let's move on. Now let's watch the scene in Detective Pikachu featuring Latios. Hello and welcome to the Detective Pikachu portion of the video, as I like to call it, Detective Latios, as it's only the frames with Latios to the best of my ability. So, in this film, don't really need to know much, just know that Tim, the main character, who's an adult, is flashing back to the day his mom dies. This is young Tim and his grandmother in his bedroom, and you can't really see it, but it'll appear on sort of wall decals, Latios here.
I know,
It's got
Tim.
Latios and Latios.
But your mother had to see the doctor. It couldn't wait.
And that is Latios' scene in Detective Pikachu. Let's move on. Now let's see why other people love Latios. Now let's look at fan art. Hello and welcome to the fan art section of the video. Nobody sent in fan art, so instead we're looking at DeviantArt fan art. For those of you who aren't familiar with the series, what we do is we go through these images until we find an image that doesn't contain a Latios. This is Latios and Latios fan art by MFA Art 123. So you've got this nice art of a Latios and a Latios here, kind of almost like reflections of swords, but you're really, yeah, they're just next to each other, and look at the reflections down there. Yes, and it's very nice. I really like the background. Then you've got... Okay, there's two images here. So, the rivalry we never got by an average Italian. So, you've got this Latios fighting this bay leaf here, and I guess it's just them, I guess, fighting in a different environment. Yeah, very interesting. This is Latios Latina by Efra Art Mix. So, I got this image that's... it's like in the Sonic universe, I guess. They're kind of stylized to the Sonic universe. Latias and Latios. Sonic and Shadow here, and he's asking, "Are you Latina?" I don't get the joke, I guess, because it kind of sounds like Latina. I don't know. Got other social media here. And you've got Latios in the Sunset Sky by Lance of the Dragons. This very nice image of a Latios here in this sunset sky. It's a very nice painting in the background. Then we've got Latios by Apricolor. So you've got Latios and Latios here, kind of, I don't know if they're, it's interesting. I don't know if they're like, yeah, I don't know what's going on with their faces, but it's very interesting. Then we've got Pokémon Latios by All 0412. It's sort of flying, and next to, I guess, the viewer is supposed to be the idea. Well, I don't know. That's fun. Then we've got Latios by Ki05. It's a nice Latios image here in this like field, I guess. Yeah, very nice. Then we've got Latios and Latios by Dark Blazed 12, so kind of slightly stylized. This Latios and Latios here, kind of very kind of different kind of anime style. Sort of flying in the air next to each other. It's very nice. Then we've got Latios and Latios Commande Commission by Neko Draw. This nice image of a Latios and a Latios, or this island here, I guess. It's, yeah, very well done. Then we've got Great Waves by Get Rex. This nice image, kind of Chinese art inspired, of a Latios flying near Kyogre. Yeah, very well done. Then we've got You Got Mail by Panther Lily 877. So we got this cute Latios here. It's very stylized with the goggles and some letter. It says "You Got Mail." I feel like I remember this from something. I don't really know from what though. This is Latios Underwear 6 by Cartool Over 2, but not really because it's by Mobian's AI. It's a very AI art here. It's like, I don't know, this weird combination of a bunch of different things. It is definitely not Latios. It's also very suspicious. Then we've got Latios by Evil Queenie. So, got this nice, very stylized Latios here. With the Soul Dew, I think. Yeah, very nice art. It seems to be from 2015. Then we've got Latios in the Clouds by Mika Poofs. So, not this very stylized, kind of a little bit uncanny valley of Latios here. The Clouds, yeah. I guess it could be also from Steel Dragon 95. I don't know if that's the same person or not. Then we've got Proud Father by Get Rex. So, we've got Giratina here, interesting, and a few different Pokemon, very stylized, kind of hard to tell, but there's Latios here, Lugia, Reshiram, Cosmog, Darkrai, and Yveltal. Yeah, very interesting art here. Pokelove by Old Anthro Pokemon. So you've got this very stylized, Latios here with this guy. I guess he's in a shirt for some reason, and it says, "Hi, master." So I guess that's the trainer, I guess. Yeah, very interesting. Then we got Latios used Mist Ball by Torta8. So this image of a Latios using a Mist Ball. Very nice kind of art here. Then we got Latios by Star Soul. This nice, kind of stylized Latios here, and this very colorful image. I like it. Then we got Iris and Latios by Romazio. So, it's Iris here, I guess, with a Latios. It's, yeah, very interesting. Looks like going through Venice or some Venice equivalent, I guess. Then we've got Closed, Adopt, Latios, Nighthawk by Cheetah 8. I guess this is altered version of Latios here. It says Adopt Latios, Nighthawk. It's gonna be from 2025. That's very recent. And we got Latios by Chalk End. So this cute little image here of Latios here seems to be also from 2025. That's very recent. Yeah, holding a Valentine. Yeah, very cute. Then we've got Closed, Adopt Latios, Night Sky Flight by Cheetah 8. So Adopt Night Sky Flight. You know, all those different sketches and stuff. This different alternate version of Latios here. Yeah, extra arts with AB options. AB2, AB1. Then we've got Latios and Latios Wallpaper by Raw Chomp. So I guess it's supposed to be like a desktop wallpaper. It's very nice, showing Latios and Latios just flying in the sky. Very nice. Then we've got Latios by Aquacha. 56,986. This nice watercolor image of a Latios here. Seems like it's from fairly the last few years, since it says AI training is prohibited, do not re-upload. So that's, yeah, clearly that's, I'm trying to respond, like saying you don't use this for your AI or whatever. Yeah. And that seems to be the end of the page of results, so we'll move on. Thanks to everyone who submitted fan art. I won't be streaming tonight, as I'll need to wait until I've talked about the Gen 4 Pokemon to catch a Latios. Tomorrow I'll be talking about Latios. As always, this is my proper outfit, you'll see me tomorrow. Hello, today we'll be talking about Latios, the second of 2 Dragon Psychic type Pokemon as of the filming of this, with the other being its female counterpart, Latias. Its previous PYC dates are March 13th, 1997, January 2nd, 2000, October 23rd, 2002, August 13th, 2005, June 3rd, 2008, March 25th, 2011, January 13th, 2014, November 3rd, 2016, August 25th, 2019, and June 15th, 2022. As I mentioned yesterday, I'm surprised we're talking about Latios second, as I always remember it being before Latios in the Pokedex. I like the design of Latios. It's very unique. It being the blue one of the duo, it's my favorite. I also love the design of Mega Latios, and I honestly thought, before doing this project, that Mega Latios and Mega Latias had the same design, and that the joke was that you get the same Pokemon regardless, since Latios and Latias look so similar. I like that Mega Latios and Mega Latias are purple, being a mix of the two colors. I most know Latios from Pokemon Heroes the movie, where Latios and Latias were the 2 featured legendary Pokemon. I also know Latios from Pokemon Cafe Remix, where, like Fustel and Minun, I didn't recruit them at the same time, so I was excited when I got Latias, having already gotten Latios. Anyway, let's get into the Bulbapedia article. Hello and welcome to the Bulbapedia section of the video. Today we'll be talking about Latios, the Eon Pokemon whose number is 0381. This is Latios, this is what it looks like. This is Mega Latios, this is what it looks like. Its type is Dragon Psychic, ability Levitate. Gender ratio is 100% male, catch rate is 3 or 1.6%. Breeding is egg group, no eggs discovered. Hatch time, 120 cycles. Egg not obtainable. As Latios, it's 6'7" or 2 meters, and 132.3 pounds or 60 kilograms. As Mega Latios, it's 7'7" or 2.3 meters, and 154.3 pounds or 70 kilograms. Its Megastone is Latiosite. Basic experience yield is 211 in Gen 3 through 4 and 275 plus, leveling very slow. EV is 3 in special attack, shape is that, footprint is that, Pokedex color is blue, other forms may have other colors, base friendship is 90. Latios is a dual-type Dragon Psychic legendary Pokemon introduced in Gen 3. While it is not known to evolve into or from any other Pokemon, Latios can Mega Evolve into Mega Latios using the Latiosite. It is a member of the Eon duo along with Latios. Biology, Latios is a Pokemon with a bird-like body stylized after a plane. Its body flows slowly into a thick neck, giving it a bulky appearance. It has no legs, usually floating instead. Most of its body is blue, with white areas near its arms and a white stripe on its back that extends up to its head. Jet plane wings sit on top of its back, while 2 tall, jagged fins point behind it from its rear. A red triangle marks the center of its chest, while a blue mark partially covers its face. Long ear-like fins extend from its jaws to over its head, and its eyes are red. It has 3 fingered arms, with a blue covering on the outer side of the lower arms. Latios is a male-only species, with Latias being its female counterpart. Latios is a gentle nature and will avoid fighting whenever possible. It can fly faster than a jet by tucking in its arms. In the 5th movie, Latios had the ability Sight Sharing, which allowed Latias and people around it to see exactly what Latios was seeing. Oakley also mentioned that it can shapeshift. It prefers compassionate trainers to whom it opens its heart. Latios uses telepathy to detect locations and the emotions of others and can understand human speech. It lives by the water's edge, as seen in Pokemon Horizons like other legendary Pokemon. Latios can be found in the Pokemon Paradise Laqua. Latios loves Latios treats made by Snacksworth, who once encountered and followed it to a secret spot in the past. Latios can be summoned by the Eon Flute. Latios is the only known Pokemon capable of learning the move Luster Purge. Forms: Latios can Mega Evolve to Mega Latios. As Mega Latios, the blue parts of its body change to purple. Horns grow from the side of its head and run along its jaw. It loses the wings on its back, and similar but larger wings attach to its lower arms, normally held in a level position. Triangle shapes now mark the forward point of its wings instead of its chest. Mega Latios is said to be one of the fastest Pokemon in the world to exist. Due to Mega Evolving, Mega Latios can achieve even higher speed in flight. Mega Latios is both larger and faster than Mega Latias. It can reach a speed of Mach 4. Mega Latios. Game data, NPC appearances, Pokemon Pinball, Ruby and Sapphire. If the ball drops out of the Ruby field while the Ball Saver is active, Latios will rescue it and place it on Splank without the ball being lost. Pokemon Omega Ruby, the player can use the Eon Flute to fly around Hoenn on the back of a Mega Latios. Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, Red Rescue Team and Blue Rescue Team. Latios is the boss of Northern Range, having fled there after stealing from the Kecleon shop in Pokemon Square. Pokemon Super Mystery Dungeon, Latios is a minor character in the game and briefly appears alongside Latias where they are being chased. They are later turned to stone and their bodies fall to the ground. Pokedex entries in Gen 3 and Ruby. Latios has the ability to make its foe see an image of what it has seen or imagines in its head. This Pokemon is intelligent and understands human speech. Sapphire. Latios will only open its heart to a trainer with a compassionate spirit. This Pokemon can fly faster than a jet plane by folding its forelegs to minimize air resistance. Emerald. Even in hiding, it can detect the locations of others and sense their emotions since it has telepathy. Its intelligence allows it to understand human languages. Fire Red and Leaf Green. It has a docile temperament and dislikes fighting. Tucking in its forelegs, it can fly faster than a jet plane. In Gen 4, Diamond Pearl Platinum, a highly intelligent Pokemon, by folding back its wings in flight, it can overtake jet planes. Heart Gold and Soul Silver, it understands human speech and is highly intelligent. It is a tender Pokemon that dislikes fighting. The Gen 5 Pokedex entries are Diamond Pearl Platinums. In Gen 6, so is X's. Y is Heart Gold and Soul Silver's entry. Omega Ruby is basically rubies, but Latios and Pokemon are another correct casing. Alpha Sapphire is basically sapphires, but Latios, Trainer, and Pokemon are another correct casing, I guess, except for Trainer is still capitalized for some reason. In Gen 8, Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, it is a highly intelligent Pokemon. By folding back its forelegs in flight, it can overtake jet planes. Game locations. In Pokemon Emerald, the roaming Pokemon is chosen in a sequence immediately after the credits where, after hearing a television report, the player is asked the color of the Pokemon in it. If blue is selected, Latios roams Hoenn and Latias is found at the island. If red is selected, Latios is found at the island and Latias roams Hoenn. Inside games and events. Held items, Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. The player must have selected the red Pokemon after defeating the Elite Four for the first time. It has Soul Dew 100% of the time. In Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, it has Latiosite 100% of the time. In events, it has Soul Dew 100% of the time, Latiosite 100% of the time, and Gold Bottle Cap 100% of the time. Stats, base stats. We'll compare Latios and Mega Latios. HP 80, that stays the same. Attack 90, that goes up to 130. Defense 80, that goes up to 100. Special attack 130, that goes up to 160. Special defense 110, that goes up to 120. Speed 110, that stays the same. So this one has a total of 600, and this one has a total of 700. Pokeathlon stats. Type effectiveness. Damaged normally by normal, flying, poison, rock, and steel. Weak to bug, ghost, ice, dragon, dark, and fairy, all for double, immune to ground. Resistant to fighting, fire, water, grass, electric, and psychic, all for half. Notes: if gravity is an effect, this Pokemon is given an Iron Ball, or affected by Smackdown or Ingrain. The opponent has the ability Mold Breaker, Turbo Blaze, or Terravolt, or this Pokemon is affected by Gastro Acid, or this Pokemon's ability is replaced. The effectiveness of Ground-type moves is 1, so we go from 0 to 1. Learn set by leveling up. 1, Stored Power and Dragon Dance, 5, Helping Hand, 10, Recover, 15, Confusion, 20, Tailwind, 25, Dragon Breath, 30, Ally Switch, 35, Luster Purge, 40, Zen Headbutt, 45, Dragon Pulse, 50, Heal Pulse, 55, Simple Beam, 60, Psychic, 65, Power Split, and 70, Memento. By TM, TM001 Takedown, 4 Agility, 7 Protect, 11 Water Pulse, 22 Chilling Water, 23 Charge Beam, 25 Facade, 27 Aerial Ace, 28 Bulldoze, 32 Swift, 34 Icy Wind, 40 Air Cutter, 41 Stored Power, 47 Endure, 49 Sunny Day, 50 Rain Dance, 51 Sandstorm, 54 Psyshock, 59 Zen Headbutt, 61 Shadow Claw, 65 Air Slash, 66 Body Slam, 70 Sleep Talk, 74 Reflect, 75 Light Screen, 77 Waterfall, 78 Dragon Claw, 81 Grass Knot, 82 Thunder Wave, 85 Rest, 97 Fly, 100 Dragon Dance, 103 Substitute, 109 Trick, 110 Liquidation, 112 Aura Sphere, 113 Tailwind, 114 Shadow Ball, 115 Dragon Pulse, 119 Energy Ball, 120 Psychic, 123 Surf, 126 Thunderbolt, 129 Calm Mind, 130 Helping Hand, 132 Baton Pass, 135 Ice Beam, 149 Earthquake, 152 Giga Impact, 156 Outrage, 163 Hyper Beam, 166 Thunder, 168 Solar Beam, 169 Draco Meteor, 171 Terra Blast, 172 Roar, 193 Weather Ball, 196 Flip Turn, 197 Dual Wing Beat, 200 Scale Shot, 203 Psych Up, 204 Double Edge, 217 Future Sight, 222 Breaking Swipe, 226 Dragon Cheer, and 228 Psychic Noise. By breeding, there's nothing. Side game data for Latios. Pokemon Ranger, Guardian Signs. In the browser entry, it flies around quickly and launches auras of light. You got all this. Pokepark Wii, Pikachu's Adventure in the Pokepark Bad entry. Latios was persuaded to come to the Pokepark by his sister Latias. Everyone agrees what a great idea that was, because Latios soars swiftly and silences Ares. You got all this. Mega Latios. Got all this. Form data, Mega Evolution, Latios, Latiosite, Mega Latios. Evolution data is just Latios. Sprites here, so we got a slightly different blue. Looks like the neck is a lot thicker, rather than that just kind of smooth transition there. A little bit more simplified all around. This is sort of teal and gold, with shiny, kind of the opposite of Latios's. And then we got Gen 4 here, slightly different blue, and I think slightly different kind of green here, I guess. Probably a little bit different in details as well, like the triangle seems to be a little bit smaller and stuff. Yeah, these things seem to be a little bit different. Oh, it's so it's kind of gray and then white for the shiny, I guess, for the body. Gen 5, you get the full back sprites, I think slightly different blue again. And Gen 6 here, you got the models, probably slightly different blue again. Yeah, pretty good adaptation, I'd say. And Mega Latios, and of course the shiny Mega Latios, the same colors as shiny Mega Latioses. And at 7, not really much change. It seems like maybe it changes a little bit in the eyes, and maybe a little bit the details. But yeah, not really much changes otherwise. Homes, you got these. Other sprites, Ruby's intro sprite. In animation, Latios in Pokemon Journeys the series. The 5th movie, Latios, is one of the big ones. Mega Latios in Hoopa and the Clash of Ages. So it's with Hoopa and Ash. I got all these. Pokedex entries in Diamond or Pearl, episode 189, in Dawn's Pokedex. Latios, the Eon Pokemon. Latios is highly intelligent and can fly faster than a tread by tucking in its wings. Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire animated trailer. Mega Latios in the animated trailer with Brandon. Pokemon Generations. Latios in Pokemon Generations with Latias. And a Vigoroth and a Pikachu. Latios in Pokemon Evolutions with May. The manga. Mega Latios in Pokemon Adventures. Latios Left and Latios Right in Pokemon Adventures. The TCG. The TFG. Other appearances, Super Smash Bros. Brawl. After Latios appears from its Pokeball, he will fly off the stage. He and Latios will then alternately zoom onto the stage with Steel Wing, damaging any opponent that collides with them. He may also cause movement of items as well. Latias and Latios in Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Trophy information, Latios appears with his counterpart, Latias. Eon Pokemon. There are only female Latios and only male Latios. If they sense the presence of a human or an enemy, they will generally use the light-bending trait of their down coats to make themselves invisible. They use telepathy to speak with companions dragons. They travel in herds, but even so are rarely seen. They're a combination of dragon and psychic types. Super Smash Bros. For Nintendo 3DS/Wii U. Latios returns as a Pokeball Pokemon. He uses Steel Wing to quickly fly across the stage several times to damage targets. Latios, once again, shares his trophy with his female counterpart in both versions of the game. Latios and Latios Trophy in Super Smash Bros. For 3DS. Trophy information in the North American version. Latios and Latios are Eon Pokemon. Both are Dragon/Psychic type Pokemon. The red Latios is female, while the blue Latios is male. By folding in their arms, they can fly faster than fighter jets. They combine speed and teamwork when they cross paths to attack fighters with Steel Wing. In the PAL version, Latios and Latios are Eon Pokemon. Both are Dragon and Psychic types. The red Latios is female, while the blue Latios is male. Befolding their arms in, they become super aerodynamic and can fly faster than fighter jets. They combine speed and teamwork when they cross paths to attack fighters with Steel Wing. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Latios returns as a Pokeball summon, retaining his behavior from past games. He also appears as a spirit alongside Latios. Eon Ticket, Latios is featured alongside Latios and the Vocaloids Hatsune Miku and Kaito in the song Eon Ticket, composed by Marasi8 for the Hatsune Miku Voltage Project. Trivia, we read this point in the Latios video. Origin, Latios and Latios appear to be a cross between a jet plane due to their wing shape and speedy flight, a dragon, and a griffin, and a bird. In particular, their lack of feet and continuous levitation might be inspired by the common swift, a bird with tiny feet. Its Latin name, apus, means without feet, that spends most of its life in the air. Similarly, they might be inspired by the martlet, a mythical bird in English heraldry that never roosts and is usually depicted with tufts of feathers in place of feet. Their red and blue plumage might be based on parrots in the genus Eos. They could also be based on jungle fowl due to their possible shared origin with Blaziken. Due to their classification as Eon Pokemon and their connection to the Soul Dew, Latios and Latios might be inspired by the Aeons in Gnosticism, which are said to be emanations of God. In Valentinianism, these aeons form male and female pairs called syzygies. They may be loosely based on the Chinese philosophical concept of yin and yang, which are opposite but interconnected natural forces. Latios being male and the more aggressive of the two would represent yang. Their names and Latios' signature move, Luster Purge, might also be a reference to Eos, the Greek goddess of dawn. Name origin, Latios may be a combination of lateo, Latin for I conceal, I lie hidden, and os, Latin masculine suffix. It might also reference Eos, the Greek goddess of dawn, or Eos, a genus of parrots with red and blue plumage. It's possible that its name is derived from Plato's dialogue Timaeus. In other languages, references, related articles, legendary Pokemon, Mega Evolutions, and the Super Smash Bros. Series. Let's move on. Since we already watched the first scene featuring Latios in the anime yesterday, let's watch the second scene in the anime featuring Latios. Hello and welcome to the anime portion of the video. Today we are watching Pokemon Heroes, the movie. In this film, we're towards the beginning of the movie. We're basically immediately after we were yesterday's video. All we really know is that there's a book and two women, or girls, or some sort of females, were reading, or like looking at the book and talking about like a treasure or something, or like a jewel or something, yeah.
Someone's coming.
Yeah. And that is Latios' second scene in the anime. Let's move on. Now let's watch the scene featuring Latios and Detective Pikachu. Hello and welcome to the Detective Pikachu portion of the video, as I like to call it, Detective Latios, as it's only the France with Latios to the best of my ability. So all you really need to know for this video is that Tim Goodman, the main character, is flashing back to the day his mother died. This is young Tim and his grandmother in Tim's bedroom. And you'll see Latios, a wall decal.
I know, Tim.
There's Latios and Latios.
But you had to see the doctor. It couldn't wait.
Yeah, and that is Latios' scene in Detective Pikachu. Let's move on. Now let's see why other people love Latios. Hello and welcome to the community post section of the video. The question is, what do you love about Latios? Beast Boy 2K4 has responded. They say, I like hoenn birds, and he classifies as one in my book. Yes. Thank you for responding. Let's move on. Now let's look at fan art. Hello and welcome to the fan art section of the video. Now we're set in fan art, so instead we're looking at TV art fan art. For those of you who aren't familiar with the series, what we do is we go through these images until we find an image that doesn't contain a Latios. This first one is Latios and Latios having fun together by an average Italian. So you've got this nice image of a Latios and a Latias. You're flying through this sort of Venice-like place, kind of reminiscent of the 5th movie. Then we've got Latios, e Latios, watercolor by Philippe, PKM. It's this nice watercolor art of a Latios and Latios. And a Flygon here, very nice. Then we've got Latios Mermaid 9 by Cartoon Lover 2. So this is very clearly AI art. Yes, barely looks like Latios, but kinda looks like a Latios Mermaid, I guess. Latios Latina by Ephra Art Mix. We did this one yesterday, but we can do it again. So we got this Latios and Latias kind of stylized in the Sonic the Hedgehog style with Sonic the Hedgehog and Shadow here. And Shadow's asking, are you Latina? For some reason, I guess because Latios and Latina kind of sound a little bit similar. Got all the social media stuff. Then we've got Shay Latios by Paikyo. So it's this nice image of a Latios and Skyform Shaman here. Yeah, very well done. Then we've got Latios by Miliotic. It's this nice painting of a Latios. Sort of flappy, going very fast. Yeah, it's very nice. Then we've got Latios Mermaid 2 by Cartoon Lover 2. So again, another AI version of this sort of weird mermaid Latios combination. Then Latios Mermaid 5 by Cartoon Lover 2. Again, another one of these weird AI art, which are like a weird combination of a mermaid and a Latios. And we've got Commission Giant Log by Aqua Blue. So we've got this shiny Latios and Latias. That's very fun. Sort of flying through this log here. Yeah, it's very nice. Then we've got Vulnerable by Rafael Momero 19. So this nice image of this Latios, I guess, comforting this Latias. Yeah, very nice. Then we've got PKMN Starlight Flight by Lumi Dragon. So this nice, very stylized version of Latios and Latias here. Yeah, very well done. Then we've got High Flying by Analog Silicon. So you got this sort of uncanny image of a Latios here. I think we did the Latios one yesterday. Yeah, very interesting. Then we've got Latios Night King by 2 the Yaiko Dark 2. So this sort of looks like a combination of a few Pokemon here. Got Latios as the main thing, with a little bit of Mega Rayquaza in there, maybe a little bit of Primal Kyogre, maybe just regular Kyogre in there. Yeah. See all their, I guess, social media stuff. Pokemon Fusion Adopts open, so we've got 2 images here, and we're only going to do this first one here. So it seems to be a combination of Latios and Reshiram. Yeah, very well done. Then we've got Soaring Speeds by Introvert Nacho. So this is a nice image of a Latios here. Interesting, got like a scar, and there's like a tooth there, and sort of wings, and it's a little bit different on the belly. That's interesting. Then we've got Latios by Valrute, sort of nice painting of a Latios here, very close up, very well done. Then we've got Latios plus Latias by Crow Party, a nice painting of a Latios and a Latias here, leaving this island, I guess. It's very nice. Then we've got Latios Mermaid 14 by Cartoon Lover 2, so another weird AI Latios mermaid thing. And we've got Latios Latias by Sizebur. So you got this nice image of a Latios and a Latias. It kind of looks like a Latios kissing a Latias. I'm being surprised in this tree. It's very nice. Then we've got Luce and Sig, yeah, by Panther Lily 877. I guess they're sort of character version of Latios and Latias. Interesting. Then we've got Latios by Splatter Parrot. It's a nice painting of a Latios here. Very well done. And we've got Latios Latias by Apricolor. So we talked about this one yesterday, but we can do it again. We got the Latios and Latias here, kind of, I don't know, looks maybe embarrassed. I don't really know what's going on with the faces. Then we've got Latios Latias by Fennec Silvestre. So it's nice, very stylized Latios and Latias here. Kind of like a classic painting, but done in like watercolor. It's very interesting. It looks like it's from December 17th, 2014. We got Number 101 by Stardust 0130. So this interesting, very stylized art of a Latios and a Latias here. That seems to be the end of the page results, so we'll move on. Next to everyone who submitted fan art, I won't be streaming tonight, as I'll be waiting until I've talked about Rayquaza to catch a Latios. Tomorrow we'll be talking about Kyogre. As always, this is my proper outfit, and you'll see me tomorrow. Hello! Today we'll be talking about Kyogre, the final Water-type Pokemon introduced in Gen 3. Primal Kyogre is the heaviest pure Water-type Pokemon as of the filming of this. Its previous PYC dates are March 14th, 1997, January 3rd, 2000, October 24th, 2002, August 14th, 2005, June 4th, 2008, March 26th, 2011, January 14th, 2014, November 4th, 2016, August 26th, 2019, and June 16th, 2022. Being that it's the blue and water type of the super ancient Pokemon, it's my favorite of the trio. It helps that I played Pokemon Sapphire growing up. I like its design. Its almost whale-like design is fitting for a legendary Pokemon. I also like the design of Primal Kyogre, particularly the colors, which I like more than Kyogre's, as they feel softer than the stark blue and red. I'm not sure why Primal Kyogre and Groudon use Primal instead of Mega, particularly since Rayquaza's alternate form is called Mega Rayquaza instead of Primal Rayquaza. Anyway, let's get into the Bulbapedia article. Hello and welcome to the Bulbapedia section of the video. Today we'll be talking about Kyogre, the Sea Basin Pokemon, whose number is 0382. This is Kyogre, this is what it looks like. This is Primal Kyogre, this is what it looks like. Its type is Water. Abilities, Drizzle is Kyogre, and Primordial Sea is Primal Kyogre. Gender ratios, gender unknown. Catch rate is 3 or 1.6%. Breedings, egg group, no eggs discovered. Hatch time 120 cycles. Egg not obtainable. As Kyogre, it's 14 foot and 9 inches, or 4.5 meters, and 776 pounds, or 352 kilograms. As Primal Kyogre, it's 32 feet, 2 inches, or 9.8 meters, and 948 pounds, or 430 kilograms. Basic experience skills 218 in Gen 3 through 4, and 302 and 5+, leveling rate is slow. Yield is 3 and special attack, shape is that, footprint is that, Pokédex color is blue, and base friendship is 0. Kyogre is a water-type legendary Pokemon introduced in Gen 3. While it is not known to evolve into or from any other Pokemon, Kyogre can undergo primal reversion and become Primal Kyogre if it holds the blue orb. Kyogre possesses the ability to expand the oceans. In ancient times, it came into conflict with Groudon, a Pokemon with the ability to expand continents. In Pokemon Sapphire, Emerald, and Alpha Sapphire, Kyogre is sought after by Team Aqua as part of their plot to create more habitats for aquatic Pokemon by raising the sea level. Kyogre is the game mascot of Pokemon Sapphire and its remake, Pokemon Alpha Sapphire, appearing on the box art of both games in its normal and primal forms, respectively. Along with Groudon and Rayquaza, Kyogre is one of the super ancient Pokemon. Biology, Kyogre is a massive whale-like Pokemon with 2 big pectoral fins, each with 4 white square-shaped nails. It has a deep blue body and a white chin area with 2 small spikes protruding under it. Above each eye are 2 white oval-shaped spots. Kyogre has red stripes around its chin, eyes, dorsal fins, and torso. These stripes glow when Kyogre is brimming with power. The tail is tattered with 4 trailing parts, with the inner ones being smaller than the outer. Its eyes are small, yellow, and shadowed with black. Kyogre is believed to be the personification of the sea itself, and is also described in mythology as the creator of the world's ocean. Kyogre is an immensely powerful Pokemon, having control over the water and being capable of creating a huge rain cloud that had slowly spread out to the whole world, eventually drowning it completely. As Kyogre slumbers in seafloor cavern, it is encased in a layer of rock that'll be shattered away if it is awakened by the blue or red orb. It is said to have expanded the seas by summoning heavy rainstorms and massive tidal waves to raise the sea levels. So you can see Kyogre slumbering in the seafloor cavern. Kyogre is hailed as a savior for quenching areas of the world plagued with drought. Kyogre is normally calm and peaceful, but if it encounters its rival, Groudon, Kyogre will engage in a cataclysmic battle against it. Said battle can only be stopped by the intervention of Rayquaza. Kyogre is known to enter a deep slumber after said clash with Groudon. Kyogre is able to fly when it has no water to swim in. Kyogre can attack its foes with countless beams of light that glow a deep and brilliant blue. Kyogre generally lives deep in the oceans and is said to rest in a deep trench. Kyogre loves Kyogre treats made by Snacksworth, who once encountered it in the past. Kyogre is the only known Pokemon capable of learning the move Origin Pulse. Prior to Gen 5, Drizzle was a signature move. Forms, Kyogre can undergo primal reversion and become Primal Kyogre. Primal Kyogre retains its general body structure, but grows to more than double the size of its base form. Its main skin color becomes a darker shade of blue, the red markings along its body become light blue, and its eyes glow yellow with orange irises and orange-red pupils. The markings on its pectoral fin slightly change to form alpha symbols, which connect to its outer nails with red markings connecting the inner nails. Every part of its skin that was white in its base form becomes clear and translucent, with the large ovals on its head now connected to clear markings stretching from its tail to its forehead, where another alpha symbol is formed. The trailing parts of its tail grow longer and gain translucent webbing, and the areas between its pectoral fin markings also become clear. The translucent parts of its body reveal organ-like structures that glow with a mysterious light. It has a large organ at the center of its body, 2 smaller ones aligned with the large oval markings, and 2 more located in its pectoral fins. The primal form of Kyogre is said to be Kyogre's true and original form, and is at its full power when in the primal state. Primal Kyogre received its name from the ancient people of Hoenn, who it tormented in the past. Primal Kyogre's ability to expand the sea is increased by the full power of nature. In the Mega Evolution Pokédex short, Primal Kyogre is said to have widened the seas by a large margin simply by taking a swim. Its body matches the composition of seawater, while skin glows similarly to that of a sapphire. With its weather-manipulating powers, it can nullify fire-type moves. Primal Kyogre was formed from the natural primal energy that existed in Hoenn's ancient past. It feeds on that same energy so it can maintain its primal form in the present day. After it was undone in the past by Mega Rayquaza, due to the lack of primal energy in the surface, it is forced to find a source underground, like the stones in the Cave of Origin, allowing it to undergo a primal reversion. Primal Kyogre, along with Primal Groudon, have the power to disrupt the planet's balance with the risk of it being destroyed. Primal Kyogre is the only known Pokemon with Primordial Sea as its ability. They've got Primal Kyogre here, got May riding Kyogre, and encountering Primal Kyogre. Game data, NPC appearances, Pokemon Pinball, Ruby and Sapphire. Kyogre is the focus of the second bonus field on the Sapphire field. Kyogre will first use sheer cold to freeze the ball in place. It will then create whirlpools to trap the ball further. Finally, it will dive into the water to evade being hit completely. However, air bubbles will appear where it is about to rise out of the water. Kyogre must be hit 15 times in 3 minutes to win. After beating the round twice, Kyogre will be captured. Pokemon, Mystery Dungeon, Explorers of Time, Explorers of Darkness. Kyogre is the guardian of the Aqua Monica. Pokédex entries in Gen 3 and Ruby. Kyogre has the power to create massive rain clouds that cover the entire sky and bring about torrential downpours. This Pokemon saved people who were suffering from droughts. Sapphire. Kyogre is named in mythology as the Pokemon that expanded the sea by covering the land with torrential rains and towering tidal waves. It took to sleep after a cataclysmic battle with Groudon. Emerald. Kyogre has appeared in mythology as the creator of the sea. After long years of feuding with Groudon, it took to sleep at the bottom of the sea. Fire Red and Leaf Green. This Pokemon is said to have expanded the sea by bringing heavy rains. It has the power to control water. In Gen 4, Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum, it is said to have widened the seas by causing downpours. It had been asleep in a marine trench. Heart Gold and Soul Silver. A mythical Pokemon said to have swelled the seas with rain and tidal waves. It battled with Groudon. The Gen 5 Pokédex entries are Diamond, Pearl, and Platinums. In Gen 6, X is basically Heart Gold and Soul Silvers, but Groudon is not the correct casing. Y is Diamond, Pearl, Platinum in the Gen 5 entries. Omega Ruby. Through primal reversion, and with nature's full power, it will take back its true form. It can summon storms that cause the sea levels to rise. Alpha Sapphire. Kyogre is said to be the personification of the sea itself. Legends tell of its many clashes against Groudon, as each sought to gain the power of nature. The Gen 8 Pokédex entries is Diamond and Pearl counterpart. Game locations, side game locations, events, held items, and events. It has the Water Gem 100% of the time, Choice Scarf 100% of the time, and Gold Bottle Cap 100% of the time. Stats, base stats. We'll compare Kyogre and Primal Kyogre. HP 100, that stays the same. Attack 100, that goes up to 150. Defense 90, that stays the same. Special Attack 150, that goes up to 180. Special Defense 140, that goes up to 160. Speed 90, that stays the same. So this one has a total of 670, and this one has a total of 770. Pokeathlon stats. Type effectiveness, damaged normally by normal, fighting, flying, poison, ground, rock, bug, ghost, psychic, dragon, dark, and fairy. Weak to grass and electric for double, immune to nothing, resistant to steel, fire, water, and ice all for half. Learn set by leveling up. 1. Origin Pulse, Water Pulse, Ancient Power, Body Slam, and Scary Face, 9 Aqua Tail, 18 Calm Mind, 27 Muddy Water, 36 Ice Beam, 45 Sheer Cold, 54 Aqua Ring, 72 Hydro Pump, 81 Double Edge, and 90 Water Spout. By TM001 Takedown, 6 Scary Face, 7 Protect, 11 Water Pulse, 22 Chilling Water, 25 Facade, 28 Bulldoze, 34 Icy Wind, 36 Rock Tomb, 46 Avalanche, 47 Endure, 50 Rain Dance, 58 Brick Break, 66 Body Slam, 70 Sleep Talk, 77 Waterfall, 82 Thunder Wave, 85 Rest, 86 Rock Slide, 99 Iron Head, 103 Substitute, 110 Liquidation, 121 Heavy Slam, 123 Surf, 126 Thunderbolt, 129 Calm Mind, 130 Helping Hand, 135 Ice Beam, 142 Hydro Pump, 143 Blizzard, 149 Earthquake, 152 Giga Impact, 163 Hyper Beam, 166 Thunder, 171 Terra Blast, 172 Roar, 204 Double Edge, 208 Whirlpool, and 209 Muddy Water. By breeding, there's nothing. Side game data for Kyogre. I got all this. Pokemon Ranger in the browser entry. Kyogre is a legendary Pokemon that attacks with a succession of giant waves. Got all this. Primal Kyogre. You got all this. Form data, Primal Kyogre. Primal Kyogre is an additional form for a Kyogre that is the result of undergoing primal reversion. If Kyogre is sent into battle while holding a blue orb, it will change into Primal Kyogre. It only loses its form when the battle ends. Primal Kyogre is only available in Pokemon Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire, Sun, Moon, Ultra Sun, and Ultra Moon. It was removed in Gen 8 along with Mega Evolution. Kyogre, Blue Orb, Primal Kyogre. Primal Kyogre differs from Kyogre in its base stats, ability, and cry. Evolution data, it's just Kyogre. Sprites here, so it looks a little bit different blue, a lot more squished. That's interesting. Pink for the shiny. Gen 4 is a lot wider in every way, pretty much. Gen 5 here, got the full back sprites. Color slightly different blue, I think. Sort of a pinkish purple now. In Gen 6, you get the models. Yeah, then you got, the Primal Kyogre here model, yeah. Pretty good adaptation, I'd say. Then you got Shiny Kyogre and Shiny Primal Kyogre. Oh, it's black and yellow, interesting. Got 7. Not much changes, I don't think. Yeah, pretty much the same. Homes, you got these. It's got pink fingertips instead of white, that's interesting. And pink instead of, like, the red part. In animation, Kyogre and Pokemon Ranger and the Temple of Sea. Kyogre, Pokemon the series, Ruby and Sapphire is one of the big ones. The other big one is Kyogre, Pokemon the series XY. Primal Kyogre and Pokemon the series XY. Others, you got this. Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire anime trailer. Pokemon Generations, Kyogre and Pokemon Generations. Primal Kyogre and Pokemon Generations. Gotcha. Pokemon Evolutions, Primal Kyogre and Pokemon Evolutions. In the manga. Kyogre and Pokemon Adventures, Primal Kyogre and Pokemon Adventures. All this. The TCG. The TFG. Other appearances, Super Smash Bros. Brawl. After being released from a Pokeball, Kyogre opens its mouth and squirts out a stream of water. The water is non-damaging, but causes characters to be knocked back with extreme force. Touching Kyogre's body will do damage. Kyogre also appears as a trophy. Kyogre in Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Trophy information. A sea basin Pokemon. It brought down heavy rains, which formed seas and relieved droughts. It is usually found slumbering at the bottom of an ocean trench. Its attack, Sheer Cold, is a technique so powerful, it causes any opponent it strikes to faint instantly. In battle, it causes clouds to form and drenches the area in rain. It once had a fierce battle with Groudon. Super Smash Bros. For Nintendo 3DS/Wii U. Kyogre returns as a Pokeball summon with faster movement as well as a longer time and more KO ability. In these games, it can also appear from a Master Ball. Kyogre also appears as a trophy in both versions of the game. So we've got Kyogre Trophy in Super Smash Bros. For 3DS. Trophy information, in the North American version, this water-type Pokemon roughly resembles an orca whale, though its large fins also look a bit like hands. Be wary of its Hydro Pump attack, which is capable of sending you flying off the stage. Even worse, it will chase after you, making it even harder to recover from the attack. In the PAL version, this orca-like water-type Pokemon is known for the distinctive shape of its fins and the red markings along its body. It will use Hydro Pump to send fighters flying off the stage, and then proceed to chase after them to make recovering from the attack a nightmare. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Kyogre returns as a Pokeball summon, retaining its behavior from past games. It, along with Primal Kyogre, also appear as spirits. Trivia: Kyogre's special attack and special defense and defense stats are the reverse of Groudon's. Prior to Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, Kyogre has a catch rate of 5. Spencer has a staff with Kyogre's markings on it. Primal Kyogre has the highest base special attack stat, base special defense stat, and base stat total of all water-type Pokemon. In Pokemon Battle Revolution, Marina has a costume based on Kyogre. So you can see Marina's Kyogre costume here. In Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, a Kyogre that knows Surf will allow the player to surf more quickly than with other Pokemon, except for Sharpedo. This action has its own animation and larger hitbox. Additionally, a Kyogre that knows Dive will allow the player to avoid underwater trainer battles. This action also has its own animation and a larger hitbox. Origin: Kyogre may be a personification of the Earth's oceans. Its conflict with Groudon is similar to that of Leviathan and Behemoth, who would start a battle that would kill them both at the end of time. Like Kyogre, Leviathan is associated with the sea, and the Hebrew word for Leviathan is now used for whales in modern Hebrew, which may be why Kyogre's appearance also draws inspiration from cetaceans, especially the orca. However, Leviathan does not resemble Kyogre in traditional depictions. The patterns on Kyogre and Primal Kyogre's fins appear similar to the first letter of the Greek alphabet Alpha, which might signify the origin of life, believed to have started in the oceans. May also signify the opposition to Groudon's Omega. Name origin: Kyogre is a combination of Kai, sea, or Kyo, king of the sea, and ogre. It may also involve orca, killer whale. In other languages, related articles, references, external links to the legendary Pokemon, and the Mega Evolutions, and the Super Smash Bros. Series. Let's move on. Now let's watch Kyogre's first scene in the anime. Hello and welcome to the anime portion of the video. Today we are watching Jirachi Wishmaker. In this film, the narrator is explaining the world of Pokemon more towards the beginning of the movie. There's Kyogre.
There are over 300 known species that continuously add to the Pokemon lore.
And that is Kyogre's first scene in the anime. Let's move on. Now let's see why other people love Kyogre. Now let's look at fan art. Hello and welcome to the fan art section of the video. No recent fan art, so let's start with looking at DeviantArt fan art. For those of you who aren't familiar with the series, what we do is we go through these images until we find an image that doesn't contain a Kyogre. This is Kyogre by Anno Curry. So it's this Primal Kyogre here with a bunch of other Gen 3 water-type Pokemon. You've got Wailord in the background, Whiscash, Barboach, a few Barboach in the background as well, Lovedisk, a few Lovedisk in the background as well, Feebas, Milotic, Gorobus, and Clamperl here. Very well done. This is Kyogre by Arvalis, so we've done this one before, but we can do it again. If you don't know, Arvalis helped work on the Detective Pikachu movie, so it's kind of fun to see their version of Kyogre here. I like that it lights up. So yeah, I got Kyogre in the center and seems to be eating a Tentacool. We got a Sharpedo and an Amistar here, and a few Jellicent and Frillish here, with both male and female. That's fun. So I think maybe it's from 2015. I can't really tell. Oh, it says Kyogre, number 382, Sea Basin Pokemon, ability Drizzle, height 14 foot 9 inches, length 50 feet. This is Primal Kyogre by Angry Aaron. This is nice, simple Primal Kyogre image. This is Primal Lord's Wallpaper by Renee Polumorphos. So, yeah, you got this, it's like a desktop wallpaper that's meant to be Primal Kyogre and Primal Groudon here. Kind of fun. And we've got Kyogre Playmat by Seadraz. This would be a daily deviation. There seems to be a few other Pokemon. We've got some Wailord in the background, Wishy-Washy, Alomomola, Clamperl, Gorobus, Corsola. Maybe a couple others, I can't really tell. Yeah. Very well done. Then we've got Kyogre and Groudon by Blue Commodore, so this nice image of a Primal Kyogre to Primal Groudon. Yeah, very fun. Then we've got Kyogre by the Blue Wind. So we've got this Kyogre here, and I guess a trainer. And I think Samurott here, I guess trying to catch the Kyogre, that's fun. So this is Let There Be Light by Hachel, so we got a bunch of these legendary Pokemon with Arceus in the middle. Palkia, Dialga, Kyogre, Groudon, Rayquaza, Mew, Celebi, Thundurus, Landorus, and Tornadus. White Kyurem, Black Kyurem, Uxie, Mesprit, Azelf, Giratina, Xerneas, and Yveltal here. Very nice art. I like the kind of flame effect. Yeah, it's very well done. We've got Kyogre by Miyu, 490. So this nice sort of Chinese art-inspired Kyogre image here. We've got all these people on this boat, and it's gonna attack it, I guess. Very well done. And we've got Kyogre by Aocom. So this nice Kyogre image here. I like all the blues. Then we've got Kyogre Water Spout by Ishman. So it's just Kyogre using Water Spout, I guess. It's very interesting. This doesn't contain a Kyogre, so we'll move on. Thanks to everyone who submitted fan art. I'll be streaming tonight at 7 p.m. CDT, Central Daylight Time, where I'll be trying to catch Snorunt, Bagon, Regirock, Regice, Registeel, Latios, and Kyogre. Get Beldum, and evolve Snorunt into Glalie, Bagon all the way to Salamence, and Beldum all the way to Metagross. Tomorrow I'll be talking about Groudon. As always, this is my proper outfit, and you'll see me tomorrow. Hello, today we'll be talking about Groudon, the final ground Pokemon introduced in Gen 3 and the third heaviest Pokemon tied with Eternatus, with Primal Groudon being the second heaviest Pokemon and the heaviest ground and fire type Pokemon, as well as the tallest fire type Pokemon as of the filming of this. Its previous PYC dates are March 15th, 1997, January 4th, 2000, October 25th, 2002, August 15th, 2005, June 5th, 2008, March 27th, 2011, January 15th, 2014, November 5th, 2016, August 27th, 2019, and June 17th, 2022. I like Groudon's design. I think it's fitting for a legendary Pokemon. I'm not the biggest fan of Primal Groudon's design. It feels like it was designed to make a cool silhouette, but not much else. Maybe it looks better in 3D. As I mentioned yesterday, I'm not sure why Primal Groudon and Kyogre use Primal instead of Mega, particularly since Rayquaza's alternate form is called Mega Rayquaza, not Primal Rayquaza. Anyway, let's get into the Bulbapedia article. Hello and welcome to the Bulbapedia section of the video. Today we're talking about Groudon, the continent Pokemon, whose number is 0383. This is Groudon, this is what it looks like. This is Primal Groudon, this is what it looks like. Types Ground as Groudon, and Ground Fire as Primal Groudon. Abilities, Drought as Groudon, Desolate Land as Primal Groudon, Gender Ratios, Gender Unknown, Catch Rate 3 or 1.6%. Breeding is Egg Group No Eggs Discovered, Hatch Time 120 cycles, Egg Not Obtainable. As Groudon, it's 11 foot 6 or 3.5 meters, and 2,094.4 pounds, or 950 kilograms. As Primal Groudon, it's 16 foot 5 or 5 meters, and 2,204 pounds, or 999.7 kilograms. Basic Stimulus Yield is 218 in Gen 3 through 4 and 302 in 5+. Leveling rate is slow. EV Yield is 3 in attack. Shape is that. Footprint is that. Pokédex color is red. And base friendship is 0. Groudon is a ground-type legendary Pokemon introduced in Gen 3. While it is not known to evolve into or from any other Pokemon, Groudon can undergo Primal Reversion and become Primal Groudon if it holds the Red Orb. Groudon possesses the ability to expand continents. In ancient times, it came in conflict with Kyogre, a Pokemon with the ability to expand the oceans. In Pokemon Ruby, Emerald, and Omega Ruby, Groudon is sought after by Team Magma as a major part of their plot to create more habitats for land Pokemon by lowering the sea level. Groudon is the game mascot of Pokemon Ruby and its remake, Pokemon Omega Ruby. appearing on the box art of both games in its normal and primal forms respectively. Along with Kyogre and Rayquaza, Groudon is one of the super ancient Pokemon. Biology: Groudon is a massive bipedal dinosaur-like Pokemon covered in red, segmented plates of thick, lava-resistant skin that act as armor. It has a gray underside and large white spikes that run along the sides of its head, body, and tail. 4 dozer-like blades on the end of its large tail, and 3 claws on each foot with gray markings under its feet. It also has blue stripes inside the seams of its armor plating, which can only be seen when Groudon is glowing with power. Groudon is believed to be the personification of the land itself, and is also described in mythology as the creator of the world's continents. Groudon is an immensely powerful Pokemon, having control over the land and being capable of creating a sweltering heat wave that is spread out to the whole world, eventually burning it up completely. Groudon is capable of dispelling rain clouds with its light and evaporating water with its raging heat. This heat allows Groudon to expand the landmass in the process. As Groudon slumbers in seafloor cavern, it is encased in a layer of rock that will be shattered away if it is awakened by the red or blue orb. So you can see Groudon slumbering in seafloor cavern. Groudon was hailed as a savior for evaporating flooded areas of the world. Whenever Groudon awakens, it causes volcanoes to erupt. Groudon is normally calm and helpful, but if it encounters its rival Kyogre, Groudon will engage in a cataclysmic battle against it. Said battle can only be stopped by the intervention of Rayquaza. Groudon is known to enter a deep slumber after said clash with Kyogre. Groudon can travel on water by using its magma to form a path beneath its feet. Groudon can attack its foes by manifesting the power of the land in fearsome blades of stone. It sleeps underground in large magma chambers. Groudon loves Groudon treats made by Snacksworth, who once encountered and waved to it in the past. Groudon is the only known Pokemon capable of learning the move Precipice Blades. Prior to Gen 5, Drought was its signature ability. Forms: Groudon can undergo Primal Reversion and become Primal Groudon. Primal Groudon's appearance is similar to Groudon, but larger in size. Its skin color changes from dark red to deep crimson, with its underside spikes and teeth turning black. The blades on its tail are more separated from one another. The Omega symbol is now shown on its arms, its eyes, the inside of its mouth, and the now enlarged openings between its armor plating grow bright yellow, and its irises are now red. The primal form of Groudon is said to be Groudon's true and original form, and is at its full power when in the primal state. Primal Groudon received its name from the ancient people of Hoenn, who it tormented in the past. In the Mega Evolution Pokédex short, Primal Groudon is said to create new land with every step it takes. The energy that fills Primal Groudon pours forth as magma, and it burns with such an extreme temperature that its body is always shimmering with the haze of its heat. It uses this enhanced magma to expand the land masses of the world. With its weather-manipulating powers, it can nullify water-type moves. Primal Groudon was formed from the natural primal energy that existed in Hoenn's ancient past. It has to feed on that same energy so it can maintain its primal form in the present day after it was undone in the past by Mega Rayquaza. Due to the lack of primal energy in the surface, it is forced to find a source underground, such as the stones in the Cave of Origin, allowing it to undergo a primal reversion. Primal Groudon, along with Primal Kyogre, have the power to disrupt the planet's balance with the risk of it being destroyed. Primal Groudon is the only known Pokemon with Desolate Land as its ability, so Primal Groudon. Game data, NPC appearances, Pokemon Pinball, Ruby and Sapphire. Groudon is the focus of the second bonus field on the Ruby field. Groudon will throw rocks down from the ceiling to add obstacles to the field and create an eruption to surround itself in pillars of fire. The rocks take 3 hits to break, while the fire pillars take 4 hits to break. During this time, Groudon will also throw fireballs at the Pokeball to stall it further. The eruption does break any rocks still on the field. Groudon must be hit 15 times in 3 minutes to win. After beating the round twice, Groudon will be captured. Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, Red Rescue Team and Blue Rescue Team. When the player completes the Mount Freeze dungeon for the first time after Ninetales is spoken to, an earthquake will happen. Ninetales says that Groudon has awakened and will wreak havoc. Team Act will go off and try to stop Groudon, only to be defeated, so a new team made up of Blastoise, Golem, and Octillery is assembled. When they get defeated, the player's team has to go to Magma Cavern themselves and defeat Groudon. Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, Explorers of Time and Explorers of Darkness. When the player visits Steam Cave for the first time, Yuxi creates a fake Groudon, hoping that it would keep the player's team away from knowing Fogbound Lake's existence in order to protect the time gear it has been guarding. After the credits, a real Groudon appears in Shimmer Desert as the guardian of the Terra symbol. Pokedex entries in Gen 3 and Ruby. Groudon has long been described in mythology as the Pokemon that raised lands and expanded continents. This Pokemon took to sleep after a cataclysmic battle with Kyogre. Sapphire. Groudon has the power to scatter rain clouds and make water evaporate with light and heat. It came as a savior to people who had been suffering from terrible floods. Emerald. Groudon has appeared in mythology as the creator of the land. It sleeps in magma underground and is said to make volcanoes erupt on awakening. Fire Red and Leaf Green. This legendary Pokemon is said to represent the land. It went to sleep after dueling Kyogre. Since I know the voice of Ash's Pokedex in Gen 4, I will try to emulate it to the best of my ability for the Gen 4 section here. In Gen 4, Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum. It has been asleep in underground magma ever since it fiercely fought Kyogre long ago. Heart Gold and Soul Silver. Said to have expanded the lands by evaporating water by raging heat. It battled titanically with Kyogre. The Gen 5 Pokedex entries are basically Diamond, Pearl, and Platinums, but Kyogre's now the correct casing. In Gen 6, X is basically Heart Gold and Soul Silver's entry, but Kyogre's now the correct casing. Y is basically Fire Red and Leaf Green's entry, but Pokemon and Kyogre are now the correct casing. Omega Ruby. Groudon is said to be the personification of the land itself. Legends tell of its many clashes against Kyogre, as each sought to gain the power of nature. Alpha Sapphire. Through primal reversion and with nature's full power, it will take back its true form. It can cause magma to erupt and expand the landmass of the world. The Gen 8 Pokedex entry is the Gen 5 Pokedex entries. Game locations. Side game locations, and events, held items and events. It has the Fire Gem 100% of the time, Choice Band 100% of the time, and Gold Bottle Cap 100% of the time. Stats-based stats will compare Groudon and Primal Groudon. HP 100, that stays the same, Attack 150, that goes up to 180, Defense 140, that goes up to 160, Special Attack 100, that goes up to 150, Special Defense and Speed 90, both stay the same. So this one has a total of 670, and this one has a total of 770. Pokeathlon stats. Type effectiveness will compare Groudon and Primal Groudon. Groudon is damaged normally by Normal, Fighting, Flying, Ground, Bug, Ghost, Steel, Fire, Psychic, Dragon, Dark, and Fairy. The ones that move are Ground, Bug, Steel, Fire, and Fairy. It gains Rock, Grass, and Ice. Groudon is weak to Water, Grass, and Ice, all for double, while Primal Groudon is weak to Ground for double and Water for a fourth. Both are immune to Electric. Groudon is resistant to Poison and Rock for half, while Primal Groudon is resistant to Poison, Bug, Steel, Fire, and Fairy, all for half. In what is supposed to be the Groudon box here, notes, if this Pokemon is given a ring target, the effectiveness of electric-type moves is 1, so go from 0 to 1. Learn set by leveling up. 1. Precipice Blades, Mud Shot, Ancient Power, Lava Plume, and Scary Face. 9. Earth Power, 18. Bulk Up, 27. Earthquake, 36. Hammer Arm, 45. Fissure, 54. Rest, 72. Fire Blast, 81. Solar Beam, and 90. Eruption. By TM001 Takedown, 5. Mud Slap, 6. Scary Face, 7. Protect, 8. Fire Fang, 25. Facade, 27. Aerial Ace, 28. Bulldoze, 31. Metal Claw, 35. Mud Shot, 36. Rock Tomb, 43. Fling, 47 Endure, 49 Sunny Day, 51 Sandstorm, 55 Dig, 58 Brick Break, 59 Zen Headbutt, 61 Shadow Claw, 64 Bulk Up, 66 Body Slam, 67 Fire Punch, 68 Thunder Punch, 70 Sleep Talk, 76 Rock Blast, 78 Dragon Claw, 82 Thunder Wave, 84 Stomping Tantrum, 85 Rest, 86 Rock Slide, 88 Swords Dance, 89 Body Press, 90 Spikes, 99 Iron Head, 103 Substitute, 107 Will-O-Wisp, 108 Crunch, 115 Dragon Pulse, 116 Stealth Rock, 118 Heat Wave, 121 Heavy Slam, 125 Flamethrower, 126 Thunderbolt, 130 Helping Hand, 133 Earth Power, 141 Fire Blast, 149 Earthquake, 150 Stone Edge, 152 Giga Impact, 157 Overheat, 158 Focus Blast, 163 Hyper Beam, 166 Thunder, 168 Solar Beam, 171 Terra Blast, 172 Roar, 176 Sand Tomb, 179 Smackdown, 186 High Horsepower, 189 Heat Clash, 192 Focus Punch, 204 Double Edge, and 215 Scorching Sands. By breeding, there's nothing. Side game data for Groudon, you got all this. Pokemon Ranger in the browser entry. Groudon appears deep in an ancient relic. Its roars trigger earthquakes. Got all this. Pokepark Wii, Pikachu's Adventure, the Pokepark Pad entry. Groudon likes the Lava Zone because it reminds him of good old days in the Pokepark. He really packs a punch at Blaziken's Boulder Bash. Got all this. For Primal Groudon, got all this. Form data, Primal Groudon. Primal Groudon is an additional form for Groudon that is the result of undergoing primal reversion. If Groudon is sent into battle while holding a red orb, it will change into Primal Groudon. It only loses its form when the battle ends. Primal Groudon is only available in Pokemon Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire, Sun, Moon, Ultra Sun, and Ultra Moon. It was removed in Gen 8 along with Mega Evolution. So we've got Groudon, Red Orb, Primal Groudon. Primal Groudon differs from Groudon in its base stats, ability, cry, and type. Evolution data, just Groudon. Sprites here, so, not much different. A lot more accurate, I guess, than Kyogre's was. Like, this is not as squished as Kyogre's was. Slightly different colors, like in the belly, it's kind of more purple, and this is a slightly different red, probably more ruby colored. Yeah. Then the shiny got green, that's interesting. In Gen 4, got this kind of red now. This is a little bit wider now as well. Slightly better quality. Looks like maybe the belly and the shiny is now different. Like more of sort of this kind of brown, I guess. Gen 5, you get the modern colors, or these colors anyway, and full back sprite. Gen 6, you get these colors, and the models, and you get the model for Primal Groudon here. Shiny, yeah. It's also black, like Kyogre's was. Interesting. Gen 7, not really much changes. Homes, you got all these. Animation, Groudon in The Rise of Darkrai. Meta Groudon is the big one. Primal Groudon in Pokemon the Series XY. Groudon, Pokemon the Series, Ruby and Sapphire is another big one. Groudon, Pokemon the Series XY is another big one. Got all this. Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire animated trailer. Primal Groudon in the animated trailer. Pokemon Generations, Primal Groudon in Pokemon Generations. Gotcha. Pokemon Evolutions, Primal Groudon in Pokemon Evolutions. In the manga, Groudon in Pokemon Adventures. Got all this. Primal Groudon in Pokemon Adventures. You got all this. In the TCG, in the TFG. Other appearances, Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Groudon is obtainable as a Pokeball Pokemon. It uses Overheat to immolate itself in a fiery aura, causing anyone except the summoner who comes into contact with it to be knocked back and receive damage, similar to the attack of Moltres, though it lasts longer. Due to its tremendous size, it takes up a lot of the stage, making its attack almost inescapable. However, Groudon's attack is significantly weaker than Moltres's, as it deals less knockback and damage, making it very hard to directly KO an opponent until they reach a very high damage percentage. Groudon in Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Trophy information. A continent Pokemon. In ancient times, it brought down droughts to save people who had suffered from floods. It is normally found in the profound depths of the earth, where it slumbers in magma. With a mighty roar, it uses earthquake to mow down enemies. In battle, it summons sunlight to bathe the area. It once had an epic battle with Kyogre. Super Smash Bros. For Wii U, Groudon appears as a trophy. Trophy information in the North American version. Groudon is called the continent Pokemon, and that's not just because it lives on them. Legend has it that Groudon actually created the continents. It has a rivalry with Kyogre, said to have created the oceans, and they apparently had an epic battle long ago. Perhaps our world was born from this great battle between land and sea. In the PAL version, Groudon is called the continent Pokemon, and that's not just because it lives on them. Legend has it that Groudon actually created the continents. It has a rivalry with Kyogre, said to have created the oceans, and they apparently had an epic battle long ago. Perhaps it was this battle of land and sea that created the world as we know it. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, both Groudon and Primal Groudon appear as spirits. Trivia, we basically read this first one in the Kyogre video. Prior to Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, Groudon has a catch rate of 5. Groudon is the only pure ground-type Pokemon to not have an evolutionary relative. Groudon shares its category name with Torterra. They are both known as the continent Pokemon. Primal Groudon is the tallest fire-type Pokemon. Primal Groudon is the heaviest ground-type and fire-type Pokemon. Primal Groudon has the highest base attack stat and base stat total of all ground-type and fire-type Pokemon. It also has the highest base defense stat of all fire-type Pokemon, and the highest base special attack stat of all ground-type Pokemon. The Meta Groudon in Jirachi Wishmaker is much taller than Groudon's game height of 11'6", being as tall as the mountainous structures in Furina. when an actual Groudon later appeared in the animated series in Gaining Groudon and the Scuffle of Legends, it was much closer to its correct size. On the DVD cover of Jirachi Wishmaker, a normal Groudon is depicted despite the Groudon in the film not being an actual Groudon. In Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness, the character Chobin operates a Robo-Groudon after the player defeats him for the third time. Although Groudon is gender unknown in the core series games, it is referred to as a male in Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Explorers of Time, Explorers of Darkness' story, is still gender unknown for purposes of gameplay. A Groudon costume was worn by Terrell in Pokemon Battle Revolution. So you can see Terrell's Groudon costume. In its early design, Groudon's eyes were shaped differently, with the positioning of the spikes on its body being slightly different. Its head details became much more elongated in the final version, and the super ancient Pokemon signature body patterns are not present. So we got early Groudon design. When Groudon is caught in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, it will have the Fire Terra type. Origin, Groudon may be modeled after the Earth's land and volcanoes, and may be a personification of the land. Its conflict with Kyogre is similar to that of Behemoth and Leviathan of Hebrew legend, who at the end of time would start a battle that would kill them both. Like Groudon, Behemoth is associated with the land. However, while Behemoth is usually depicted as a warthog/hippopotamus-like creature, Groudon resembles a theropod dinosaur with spikes resembling various species of Ankylosauria. The patterns on Groudon and Primal Groudon's legs and arms appear similar to the last letter of Greek alphabet, Omega, which might signify the end of life, believed to happen with cataclysmic events such as volcano eruptions. Might also signify the opposition to Kyogre's Alpha. Name origin, Groudon may be a combination of ground and dawn, Spanish for lord, or don, common suffix in dinosaur names derived from the ancient Greek word for tooth. May also involve do, earth, or don, onomatopoeia for booming or crashing sound. In other languages, related articles, references, external links to the legendary Pokemon, and the Mega Evolutions, and the Super Smash Bros. Series. Let's move on. Now let's watch Groudon's first scene in the anime. Hello and welcome to the anime portion of the video. Today we are watching Pokemon Jirachi Wishmaker. In this film, the narrator is explaining the world of Pokemon.
Intentions are
There's
pure.
Groudon.
There are those who would take advantage of the most fearsome Pokemon to achieve goals of control, domination, and power. Groudon, an ancient Pokemon, is so...
That is Groudon's first scene in the anime. Let's move on. Now let's see why other people love Groudon. Now let's look at fan art. Hello and welcome to the fan art section of the video. Nobody sent in fan art, so instead we're looking at DeviantArt fan art. For those of you who aren't familiar with the series, what we do is we go through these images until we find an image that doesn't contain a Groudon. This first one is a fusion, but since we don't start with fusions, we'll start with the second one. This one is Groudon 383 by Brawn Bear. This interesting Groudon here. I've got Groudon and Kyogre by Frey06. So this nice image of a Primal Groudon and Primal Kyogre here, kind of battling it out. That's kind of fun. Then we've got Groudon by Fusion. So we've got this art here. So it's Misty fighting, I guess, a Groudon, or about to fight a Groudon. I'm guessing it's from this app, Color Fan. So they probably just colored it in, or I don't know, maybe they drew over it. I don't really know how that would work. Interesting. Then we've got Groudon Remder by E74,444,444,444. So we've got this nice render of Primal Groudon here. Yeah, very well done. This doesn't contain a Groudon, so we'll move on. Next to everyone who submitted fan art. I won't be streaming tonight, as I simply don't have time. Tomorrow I'll be talking about Rayquaza. As always, this is my proper outfit, and you'll see me tomorrow. Hello! Today we'll be talking about Rayquaza, the final flying and dragon-type Pokemon introduced in Gen 3, with Mega Rayquaza being the tallest flying Pokemon and Mega Evolution. Its previous PYC dates are March 16th, 1997, January 5th, 2000, October 26th, 2002, August 16th, 2005, June 6th, 2008, March 28th, 2011, January 16th, 2014, November 6th, 2016, August 28th, 2019, and June 18th, 2022. I like Rayquaza's design. I think it works well for legendary Pokemon. I think Mega Rayquaza's design is a lot. While Rayquaza's design is complex, it has simple elements. This just feels like the developers were going all out because they had the technology to do so, and it looks like a mess. A cohesive mess, but a must nonetheless. I don't know why Mega Rayquaza is called Mega Rayquaza, when the other two members of the super ancient Pokemon trio use Primal instead, other than the Gen 3 Hoenn games, including Pokemon Emerald, where it's the box art legendary. I most know Rayquaza from Destiny Deoxys, where it opposes Deoxys in the film. Anyway, let's get to the Bulbapedia article. Hello and welcome to the Bulbapedia section of the video. Today we're talking about Rayquaza, the sky-high Pokemon, whose number is 0384. This is Rayquaza, this is what it looks like. This is Mega Rayquaza, this is what it looks like. Type is Dragon Flying, abilities, Airlock as Rayquaza, and Delta Stream is Mega Rayquaza. Gender ratios, gender unknown. Catch rate is 3 or 1.6%. Breeding is egg group, no eggs discovered. Hatch time 120 cycles. Egg not obtainable. As Rayquaza, it's 23 feet or 7 meters and 455.3 pounds or 206.5 kilograms. As Mega Rayquaza, it is 35 feet and 5 inches or 10.8 meters and 864.2 pounds or 392 kilograms. Megastone is none. Basic Experience Yield is 220 at Gen 3 through 4, and 306 in 5+. Leveling rate is slow. EV Yield is 3, 2 in attack, and 1 in special attack. Shape is that it has no feet, so it has no footprint. Pokedex color is green, and base friendship is 0. Rayquaza is a dual-type dragon/flying legendary Pokemon introduced in Gen 3. While it's not known to evolve into or from any other Pokemon, Rayquaza can Mega Evolve into Mega Rayquaza if it knows Dragon Ascent, but only if it is not holding a Z Crystal. Rayquaza is the game mascot of Pokemon Emerald, appearing on the box art of the game. It serves to end the conflict between Kyogre and Groudon when Team Magma's leader Maxie and Team Aqua's leader Archie awakened them. Along with Kyogre and Groudon, Rayquaza is one of the super ancient Pokemon often viewed as their leader by fans. In Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, it plays an important role during the Delta episode. It is associated with Deoxys. Biology, Rayquaza is a large, green serpentine Pokemon. It also resembles a missile. It has red-tipped rudder-like wings on its shoulders and down its body, and similarly patterned fins on the tip of its tail. Yellow ring-like symbols run across the length of Rayquaza's body, and it has an additional yellow ring on top of its head. Rayquaza has 2 limbs with 3 clawed hands, and 2 long, flat, horn-like structures on its head, with 2 shorter horns along its jawline. It has small yellow eyes with black pupils, prominent pink gums, and 2 discernible fangs in its upper jaw. Rayquaza has a strong and endless desire to do heroic deeds for the Pokemon world. Rayquaza is said to be equal to both Groudon and Kyogre. Rayquaza can halt the endless battles of the other 2 super ancient Pokemon by forcing both back into their slumber, even in their primal forms. Rayquaza is the only one who can stop the duo and restore order to nature. Rayquaza is said to have lived for hundreds of millions of years in the ozone layer, where it feeds on water and other particles. It also feeds on meteoroids, particularly megastones, and even on the meteor in the stratosphere of the Alola region. It also loves Rayquaza treats made by Snacksworth, who once encountered it in the past. Rayquaza is rarely seen by people, even in flight. Its appearance is indistinguishable from that of a meteor. For living in the ozone layer, it can breathe in outer space. Rayquaza possesses some of the strongest attack power out of any Pokemon. It can easily summon cyclones to overwhelm its opponents. It can soar into the sky and drop out into its foes at high speeds, causing huge damage. Thanks to its weather manipulation powers, it can eliminate weather effects. Rayquaza was worshipped by the Draconid people, along with the people of Hoenn, as the savior of the region. Thus, they built the Sky Pillar to honor it. Additionally, it can be summoned atop Sky Pillar by a Keystone, encountering Rayquaza atop Sky Pillar. In Pokemon Adventures, the Draconids refer to it as their Dragon Lord. It is one of the longest-lived Pokemon species. Inside Rayquaza's body lies an organ that contains the same power as a Megastone, which was named the Mikado organ by a Devon Corporation scientist. Rayquaza is bitter enemies with Deoxys, but the two often clashing with each other due to Rayquaza's territorial nature. This is depicted in the movie Destiny Deoxys, the games Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire, and Masters EX. Rayquaza is the only known Pokemon capable of learning the move Dragon Ascent. It is also the only known Pokemon that can have Airlock as an ability. Forms, Rayquaza can Mega Evolve into Mega Rayquaza. Thanks to Rayquaza's Mikado organ, by consuming meteoroids in the stratosphere, the organ can be filled with enough energy for Rayquaza to Mega Evolve without a Megastone and even a Keystone as seen in Pokemon the series XY. As Mega Rayquaza, its body becomes longer and gains more features. Its head becomes longer with the Delta symbol appearing on its forehead. Rayquaza's eyes now contain yellow pupils with red irises and black Shido-shaped markings trail behind its eyes. Its red lips and teeth become gold, and the gold lines connect to those on its lower horns, which take on a broad triangular shape. At the outer edges of its lower horns are long golden, glowing tendrils that each extend to a green fin-like structure. These tendrils have ring patterns that strongly resemble the yellow markings running along the length of Rayquaza's normal form. While in flight, these tendrils give Mega Rayquaza a triangular profile. Its two upper horns become longer with a gold line running over them in a V shape, and each upper horn has another glowing tendril that ends in a circular shape with a spike. Along the length of its body are golden glowing orbs placed where its ring patterns used to be. The chin, part of the neck, and parts of its serpentine body are changed to the color black. The fins running along its body are now marked with gold lines. The fins on its tail become extremely yellow and substantially longer. Particles stream from the long tendrils that extend from its jutting jaw. These particles can control the density and humidity of the air, allowing Mega Rayquaza to manipulate the weather. Its green hide sparkles with an emerald-like quality. Mega Rayquaza was said to have been born from humanity's wish for salvation, channeled through the keystone of a Draconid lore keeper. Rayquaza is the first recorded Pokemon to achieve Mega Evolution and is at its full power when in the Mega Evolved state. Thanks to its weather manipulating powers, it can change the weather to eliminate all of the flying type's weaknesses. Mega Rayquaza is so powerful that it can undo the primal forms of Groudon and Kyogre. It's also capable of destroying meteors bigger than itself. It has been referred to as Delta. Mega Rayquaza destroying a meteor. Mega Rayquaza is the only known Pokemon that can have Delta Stream as an ability. So Mega Rayquaza. Game data, NPC appearances, Pokemon Pinball, Ruby and Sapphire. Rayquaza is the focus of the third and final bonus field. It can only be challenged after capturing Groudon or Kyogre, and will then join the circuit of bonus fields. Rayquaza will bounce along from left to right, allowing the ball to roll under it if it is up. It will sometimes use Thunder to paralyze the ball if it is not moving fast enough, though it does stay still while it is unleashing the attack. Rayquaza will also sometimes use extreme speed to create two tornadoes that cause the ball to fly up into the air for several seconds if contact is made. Rayquaza must be hit 15 times in 3 minutes to win. After beating the round twice, Rayquaza will be captured. Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, Red Rescue Team and Blue Rescue Team. Rayquaza acts as the final boss living on the Sky Tower. After it is defeated, Rayquaza helps save the world from a meteor. After the credits roll, the player can rebattle Rayquaza to recruit it. Pokemon Ranger, Rayquaza can be captured in a bonus mission after the credits. Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, Explorers of Time, Explorers of Darkness. Rayquaza is the guardian of the sky Melodica. Pokepark Wii Pikachu's Adventure. Rayquaza is the leader of the Granite and Flower Zones. He's in charge of Rayquaza's Balloon Panic. Pokemon Super Mystery Dungeon. Rayquaza first appears early into the game, fleeing to space in fear of Dark Matter's influence. When Dark Matter attempts to take the Tree of Life to space, Rayquaza and Deoxys use their energies to try and slow its ascent from above, with Rayquaza even Mega Evolving. Ultimately, when Dark Matter regenerates itself for the first time and unleashes even more energy, turning both Rayquaza and Deoxys to stone. At the conclusion of the event, Rayquaza turns back to normal and takes residence at Dragon Gate and guards the Wind Looplet. Pokedex entries in Gen 3 and Ruby. Rayquaza lived for hundreds of millions of years in the Earth's ozone layer. Never descending to the ground, this Pokemon appears to feed on water and particles in the atmosphere. Sapphire. Rayquaza is said to have lived for hundreds of millions of years in the Earth's ozone layer, above the clouds. Its existence had been completely unknown because it lived so high in the sky. Emerald. A Pokemon that flies endlessly in the ozone layer. It is said that it would descend to the ground if Kyogre and Groudon were to fight. Fire Red and Leaf Green. It has lived for hundreds of millions of years in the ozone layer. Its flying form looks like a meteor. Since I know the voice of Ash's Pokedex in Gen 4, I will try to emulate that to the best of my ability for this Gen 4 section here, in Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum. It lives in the ozone layer, far above the clouds, and cannot be seen from the ground. Heart Gold and Soul Silver. It flies in the ozone layer, way up high in the sky. Until recently, no one had ever seen it. The Gen 5 Pokedex entries are Diamond, Pearl, and Platinums. In Gen 6, so is X's, Y's, Heart Gold, and Soul Silver's entry. Omega Ruby. Rayquaza is said to have lived for hundreds of millions of years. Legends remain of how it put to rest the clash between Kyogre and Groudon. Alpha Sapphire. It flies forever through the ozone layer, consuming meteoroids for sustenance. The many meteoroids in its body provide the energy it needs to Mega Evolve. The Gen 8 Pokedex entries is Diamond and Pearl counterpart. Game locations, side game locations, and events. Hell items and events, it has the Dragon Scale 100% of the time, Life Orb 100% of the time, and Dragon Fang 100% of the time. Stats, base stats, I'll compare Rayquaza and Mega Rayquaza. HP 105, that stays the same. Attack 150, that goes up to 180. Defense 90, that goes up to 100. Special attack 150, that goes up to 180. Special defense 90, that goes up to 100. Speed 95, that goes up to 115. So this one has a total of 680, and this one has a total of 780. Pokeathlon stats. Type effectiveness, damage normally by normal, flying, poison, ghost, steel, electric, psychic, and dark. Weak to rock, dragon, and fairy for double, and ice for 4. Immune to ground. Resistant to fighting, bug, fire, and water, all for half. And grass for a 4th. Notes, if gravity is in effect, this Pokemon is given an Iron Ball, or ring target, or is affected by Smackdown or Ingrain. The effectiveness of ground-type moves is 1, so go from 0 to 1. Learn set by leveling up. 1, Dragon Ascent, Twister, Ancient Power, Air Slash, and Scary Face. 9, Crunch, 18, Dragon Dance, 27, Extreme Speed, 36, Dragon Pulse, 45, Hyper Voice, 54 Rest, 63 Fly, 72 Hurricane, 81 Outrage, and 90 Hyper Beam. By TM, TM001 Takedown, 6 Scary Face, 7 Protect, 25 Facade, 27 Aerial Ace, 28 Bulldoze, 32 Swift, 34 Icy Wind, 36 Rock Tomb, 43 Fling, 44 Dragon Tail, 46 Avalanche, 47 Endure, 49 Sunny Day, 50 Rain Dance, 51 Sandstorm, 58 Brick Break, 60 U-Turn, 61 Shadow Claw, 64 Bulk Up, 65 Air Slash, 66 Body Slam, 70 Sleep Talk, 77 Waterfall, 78 Dragon Claw, 82 Thunder Wave, 85 Rest, 86 Rock Slide, 88 Swords Dance, 97 Fly, 99 Iron Head, 100 Dragon Dance, 103 Substitute, 108 Crunch, 113 Tailwind, 115 Dragon Dance, 116 Stealth Rock, 117 Hyper Voice, 119 Energy Ball, 123 Surf, 125 Flamethrower, 126 Thunderbolt, 130 Helping Hand, 133 Earth Power, 135 Ice Beam, 141 Fire Blast, 142 Hydro Pump, 143 Blizzard, 147 Wild Charge, 149 Earthquake, 150 Stone Edge, 152 Giga Impact, 156 Outrage, 157 Overheat, 158 Focus Blast, 160 Hurricane, 163 Hyper Beam, 166 Thunder, 168 Solar Beam, 169 Draco Meteor, 171 Terra Blast, 172 Roar, 180 Gyro Ball, 200 Scale Shot, 204 Double Edge, 208 Whirlpool, 220 Meteor Beam, 222 Breaking Swipe, and 226 Dragon Cheer. By breeding is nothing. Side game data, Rayquaza, you got this. Pokemon Ranger, the browser entry. Rayquaza rampages while spitting energy. It is said to be impossible to capture. Pokepark B, Pikachu's Adventure, in the Pokepark Pad entry. Rayquaza is a zone keeper. He protects the Granite Zone and the Flower Zone. He's also the attraction chief of Rayquaza's Balloon Panic. He values promises. Got all this. Mega Rayquaza, you got all this. Form data, Mega Evolution. Rayquaza can Mega Evolve into Mega Rayquaza if it knows Dragon Ascent, but only if it is not holding a Z Crystal. In Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, the Rayquaza featured in the Delta episode must be caught, which requires it to eat the meteorite before the player can Mega Evolve any Rayquaza. Rayquaza, Mega Rayquaza. Evolution data, just Rayquaza. Sprites. So, a little bit different. The mouth is blue on the inside. It's kind of orange instead of red. For a lot more simplified, I guess. But still pretty complex. The green is slightly different. These are less pointed. Like these are. They're more obviously like that in the back sprite. Black for the shiny. Yep. Gen 4 gives it its sort of redder mouth. And sort of this is more red, the outer part as well. Green, I think, is slightly different. The eyes, I think, are slightly different. Its mouth is a little bit different shaped. Particularly see that on the back sprite. The line is a lot thicker, at least on the back sprite. Slightly different design. Gen 5, get the full back sprites. Slightly different design again, I think, of the horns. Slightly different green, slightly different black. Gen 6, get the models, pretty good adaptation. You get Mega Rayquaza's models. Okay. Then you've got... And then this Mega Rayquaza is basically the same. Except this is red for some reason instead of yellow. Gen 7, not really much changes. In homes, we got these models. In animation, main series, Rayquaza in Destiny Deoxys. Shiny Rayquaza in Pokemon Horizons, the series. Rayquaza in the 7th movie is the big one. Rayquaza, Pokemon the series. XY is another big one. Mega Rayquaza in the Mega Evolution Specials. And Shiny Mega Rayquaza in Hoopa and the Clash of Ages. Black Rayquaza is another big one. Got all this. Pokedex entries in Horizons, Episode 6, in Lico's Rotom Phone. Rayquaza, the sky-high Pokemon. A dragon and flying type. It has lived for hundreds of millions of years in the ozone layer. When it flies at night, it resembles a shooting star. Pokemon, Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire anime trailer. Pokemon Generations, Mega Rayquaza in Pokemon Generations. Gotcha. Pokemon Evolutions, Rayquaza in Pokemon Evolutions, and Mega Rayquaza in Pokemon Evolutions. In the manga, Rayquaza in Pokemon Adventures. Shiny Rayquaza in Pocket Monsters, Lico and Roy's Adventure manga. And Mega Rayquaza in Pokemon Adventures. Shiny Mega Rayquaza in Hoopa and the Clash of Ages. All these. TCG. Other appearances, Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Rayquaza appears in the Subspace Emissary mode as a boss. After Diddy Kong lands in the lake, Rayquaza lunges out of the water and grabs him, angry at being disrupted. Before it can further attack, Fox ejects out of a ship which had crashed and been destroyed by Rayquaza earlier, and rescues Diddy Kong. Enraged, Rayquaza attacks Fox with Dragon Pulse, but Fox reflects its attack back at it, sending it reeling back into the water. Rayquaza soon launches back out and engages in battle against Fox and Diddy Kong. Even though it is a very powerful legendary Pokemon, they still manage to defeat it. Like all other Subspace Emissary bosses, Rayquaza is later battled again in the Great Maze and can be fought in the Boss Battles mode after the latter is unlocked. Its attacks in battle include Extreme Speed, Thunder, Dig, there's a note here, can't learn this in the core series games, Iron Tail, and Fly. Rayquaza being found/battled at the lake contrasts how it canonically is supposed to live in the ozone layer. So this is Rayquaza in Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Trophy information. A sky-high Pokemon. It normally resides high up in the ozone layer, but it flies endlessly, so it is rarely seen. However, when Groudon and Kyogre began to fight, it appeared to calm them down. It has the ability Airlock, which blocks all weather condition effects. It has exceedingly strong abilities, and its attack power is especially remarkable. Super Smash Bros. For Wii U. Rayquaza appears as an occasional stage hazard in the Dragon Mark Chamber of the Kalos Pokemon League stage. Appearing rarely, it flies across the stage at various angles, dealing damage to fighters. Its path is shown briefly by lightning before it appears, giving players time to avoid it. So Rayquaza in Super Smash Bros. For Wii U. Trophy information. This dragon and flying type Pokemon usually dwells high in the ozone layer, so it can't be seen from the ground. In the Kalos Pokemon League stage, it occasionally flies at great speed through the Elite Four's dragon type chamber, where any fighters in its path will be damaged and launched with great force. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Rayquaza appears as a spirit, as well as retaining its rare appearance in the Dragon Mark Chamber on the Kalos Pokemon League stage. Rayquaza's Spirit Battle uses a Ridley puppet fighter and is fought on the Kalos Pokemon League stage's Dragon Mark Chamber, which features Rayquaza as a stage element. During the battle, heavy winds are immediately in effect, referencing Mega Rayquaza's ability Delta Stream, which creates strong winds. I don't know if we've had a music this generation, but if we haven't, what this is this is a list of music associated with Rayquaza in the Pokemon games. So it features the games, the location, the song name, who composed it, and who arranged it. So in the games, Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, Ultra Sun, and Ultra Moon. When you're battling Rayquaza at Sky Pillar in Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, or the Ultra Space Wilds in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, the song is Battle super ancient Pokemon, composed and arranged by Junichi Masuda. In Emerald, Rayquaza's descent at Sutopolis City. Rayquaza appears, composed and arranged by Junichi Masuda. In Heart Gold and Soul Silver, battling Rayquaza at the Embedded Tower. Battle super ancient Pokemon, composed by Junichi Masuda and arranged by Shota Kageyama. Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, recounting Rayquaza's tale at Sky Pillar. Sky Pillar, composed by Junichi Masuda and arranged by Shota Kageyama. Battling Rayquaza at Sky Pillar. Battle Super Ancient Pokemon, composed by Junichi Masuda and arranged by Manako Adachi. And Sword and Shield, battling Rayquaza at the Max Lair. Battle Max Lair, composed and arranged by Unknown. Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, battling Rayquaza at Ramana's Park. Battle Strange Space, composed and arranged by Shota Kageyama. Trivia: Mega Rayquaza has the highest space attack and special attack stats, and the highest space stat total of all Dragon-type and Flying-type Pokemon. Mega Rayquaza is the tallest Mega Evolved Pokemon, is also the tallest Flying-type Pokemon. Rayquaza's catch rate was raised from its original value of 3 to 45 in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. This is likely due to it being a required capture during the Delta episode storyline of that game. Its catch rate was later reverted from 45 back to 3 in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Rayquaza was the most voted Pokemon of all pre-Gen 5 Pokemon in the Korean Pokemon Global Link promotion poll. Rayquaza was also the most voted on the 15th anniversary poll, which was for the game mascots of the core series games, making it Japan's favorite game mascot. Shiny Rayquaza is likely the most promoted shiny Pokemon. Its shiny form has been distributed via events 11 times, has appeared in 9 TCG prints, serves as a featured character in Hoopa and the Clash of Ages, and a reoccurring character in Pokemon Horizons, and has made appearances in various spin-off games and merchandise. Got promotional artwork of shiny Rayquaza. Rayquaza is misspelled as Rayquaza at the player select screen of Pokemon Team Turbo. However, this typo does not affect the mini-games, Charizard's Crossword Challenge, and Mudkip's Word Finder because they don't use Rayquaza or any other Pokemon without evolutionary relatives as of Gen 3. Rayquaza is the only Pokemon capable of Mega Evolving that does not require a Mega Stone to do so in the games. It is therefore the only Pokemon that can have a different health item apart from Z Crystals while Mega Evolved, since Mega Stones cannot be taken off their proper holder during battle. It is also the only Pokemon not to have the message "The opposing Pokemon's Mega Stone is reacting to its Keystone" when it Mega Evolves. Instead, it has the message, "Player's fervent wish has reached Rayquaza." This 8th point I read in the Mewtwo video, but not this sub-point, so I'll read it. This also makes it the only Pokemon with a base stat total above 720 that doesn't require a specific held item. Rayquaza was designed by Hironobu Yoshida. In the Pokemon of the Year poll held by the Pokemon Company in 2020, Rayquaza was voted the most popular Gen 3 Pokemon, receiving 60,939 votes. It was also the 8th most popular Pokemon overall. It was also voted as the most popular legendary Pokemon, as well as being the only legendary to make the top 10 results. Origin: Rayquaza's design may be based on the Chinese dragon and the Lindworm. Its role is similar to that of Ziz in Hebrew legends. It matches the description of the Aztec god Quetzalcoatl, who was depicted as a flying serpent and created the boundary between the earth, including the oceans, and the sky. The markings on its body may be inspired from the Nazca lines. Its trait of being capable of inhabiting the skies and living there whilst subsisting on nothing but dew and particles for centuries also bears aspects of the legendary Chinese Xian hermit sages and East Asian dragons, specifically Japanese dragons, who are commonly depicted with 3 claws as opposed to 4 in Chinese dragons. Rayquaza, being a dragon coming from the cosmic space on Earth, might take inspiration from meteorites, the Draconids meteor shower named after Draco constellation, or the comet that gave the name Pendragon to the legendary king of the Britons. The yellow marking on Mega Rayquaza's head appears similar to the Greek letter delta, what might allude to the Delta episode from Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. Name origin: Rayquaza may be derived from Reku, sky rending, a word appearing in various media and merchandise that featured Rayquaza. The latter half may be derived from Za, seat, relating to compounds such as Caesar, constellation, and Oza, throne. May also involve Rakia, Hebrew for firmament, Ray, and Quasar. Rayquaza's Mikado organ refers to Mikado Emperor, another name for the Emperor of Japan. In other languages, see also references, external links to the legendary Pokemon, and the Mega Evolutions. Let's move on. Now let's watch Rayquaza's first scene in the anime. Hello and welcome to the anime portion of the video. Today we are watching Destiny Deoxys, the movie. In this film, a meteorite is headed towards, this area. This is like the Northern Lights, or the Southern Lights, I'm not really sure which. Here in this sort of cold area, there's a researcher and his team, and the researcher's son, and his assistant we've been introduced to. Yes. There's Rayquaza. Seeing the... Oof. Oh, sorry. That is Rayquaza's first scene in the anime. Let's move on. Now let's watch Rayquaza's scenes in Detective Pikachu. Hello and welcome to the Detective Pikachu portion of the video, as I like to call it, Detective Rayquaza. It's only the France of Rayquaza to the best of my ability. You can see Rayquaza's on this wall art here. This is the only way Rayquaza appears in the film. I guess you could also see the word Rayquaza here. In this film, Tim Goodman, the main character, has come to Rhyme City, as he has found out that his father, Harry Goodman, has died in a car accident. Tim is cleaning up his dad's life. He's about to enter this bedroom that was made up to be like his childhood bedroom, as his father wanted him to come live with him after his mother died, but he decided to stay with his grandmother instead. There's Tim. Thinking about the day that his mother's died, we're kind of cutting between them here. Flashbacks. Now we've cut to later in the film. Tim has met Detective Pikachu, a talking Pikachu with amnesia, who was Harry's police partner. Harry was a police detective. Detective Pikachu is rummaging around the bedroom looking for clues to his past.
Just everywhere. No fingerprints. Doesn't add up. There's a connection.
So he's talking about how all these posters and cards and all the other stuff he has related to Pokemon basically means that he likes Pokemon, but he'll explain that he used to before his father spent more time with Pokemon than his own son.
Isn't there?
No, before my father moved to this city and spent more time with Pokemon than his own son.
She could be a lead.
So he's found a picture of Tim's mom, believing her to have information about his past, and he's gonna explain that she's dead.
No, she's not.
Yep. And that is Rayquaza's scenes in Detective Pikachu. Let's move on. Now let's talk about the TCG. I have one Rayquaza card. It's the 14th Rayquaza card design. I would say it's the hollow foil version, but from what I could find, it seems that this particular print was exclusively hollow foil. It was illustrated by So Taro, an illustrator for the TCG from 2017 to 2021. I like the image and how you can see Rayquaza in the upper atmosphere. I like the background, especially with the hollow foil effect. It's also nice to see a TCG image of Rayquaza that isn't in CGI, since most of them seem to be. It's normal type, which likely mimics its flying type, as flying is usually considered normal in the TCG, which is odd since they could have gone with Rayquaza's other typing, which does have an equivalent in the TCG, Dragon. It has 130 HP, it's 23 feet and 455.3 pounds. It has two moves, Jaw Lock and Power Blast. Jaw Lock is a Dark-type move introduced in Gen 8. In the video games, it does damage and prevents the user and the target from leaving the battle. On this card, it costs 2 of any energy and hits for 30 damage. It also prevents the opponent's Pokemon from retreating on their next turn. Power Blast isn't a move in the video games. On this card, it costs 3 of any energy and hits for 120 damage, but the player must remove 1 energy from Rayquaza. It's weak to Lightning for double, which is odd since it isn't weak to Electric in the video games. Instead, it could have been weak to Water, Dragon, or Psychic, as it's weak to Ice, often considered Water in the TCG, Dragon, and Fairy, often considered Psychic in the TCG, in the video games. Rayquaza is resistant to fighting for minus 30 damage, which seems to mimic its resistance to fighting in the video games. It costs 2 of any energy for Rayquaza to retreat. Its description reads, "It flies in the ozone layer, way up high, in the sky. Until recently, no one had ever seen it." This is the Pokedex entry in Pokemon Heart Gold, Soul Silver, and Y. In the bottom right corner, there's the promo symbol, meaning this card was in a promotional set. In this case, it's for Pokemon Sword and Shield. Next to that is the D mark, meaning this card couldn't be played in official tournaments after April 13th, 2023. I don't have a card for Jirachi, so the next Pokemon with a card I have is technically Turtwig. But I'll need to wait until I've talked about Lucario before I can talk about that card, since it's a trainer card featuring both Pokemon. After that, the next Pokemon with the card I'll be talking about is Torterra. Now let's see why other people love Rayquaza. Now let's look at fan art. Hello and welcome to the fan art section of the video. Adobe set in fan art, so instead we're looking at DeviantArt fan art. For those of you who aren't familiar with the series, what we do is we go through these images until we find an image that doesn't contain Rayquaza. This is Mega Lord of the Sky by Renee Palumorphos. May and her Mega Blaziken confronting Mega Rayquaza here. Fun. Yeah, very nice image. Then we got Rayquaza Extreme Speed by Ishmam, so it's just Rayquaza using Extreme Speed. That's kind of fun. Mega Rayquaza Draco Meteor by Engan Lam Song. So we've got this Mega Rayquaza using Draco Meteor. That's kind of nice. Yeah, it's very well done. Then we've got The God Ascends by Sandara. So this nice image of a shiny Rayquaza here, flying up the sky, and I guess a trainer, and their Mamoswine and Swinub, and Glaceon, sort of looking up, I guess, at it. That's kind of fun. Then we've got Mega Rayquaza Pokemon by Zero-kun. So, we've got this nice image of Mega Rayquaza here. Very nice, yeah, it kind of looks like a poster. Seems to be from June 12th, 2014. Rayquaza, Groudon, and Kyogre by Francis John here. So it's Rayquaza, Groudon, and Kyogre here. This nice stylized image of the three. That's nice. Then we've got Rayquaza by Sarah Lynn Art. So we've got, seems like two Rayquaza fighting each other, it looks like. That's interesting. Maybe it's supposed to be a shiny and a normal Rayquaza. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, very well done. Then we've got Things Just Got Mega by Tatwing. So we've got Mega Rayquaza here. It's a very nice image. Seems to be about to use some sort of beam attack. Then we've got Commission Chef Ninja 3 by Sadui. So we've got this nice image here of a trainer and a bunch of legendary Pokemon. Got the Rayquaza here, Mewtwo, Darkrai, Giratina, Arceus, and White Kyurem here. Interesting background. I like it. Yes, very well done. Then we've got Mega Rayquaza by Gnam Lam Song here. So this Mega Rayquaza coming off of the image here. That's very fun. Then we've got Rayquaza by Lishay. Seems to be this trainer confronting Rayquaza here in the sandstorm. Interesting. They're more realistic looking. Yeah, very well done. Then we've got Detective Pikachu Rayquaza Museum by Arvalis. So we've got this art. It looks like, I guess it's from yeah, just a design they could have used in the Detective Pikachu movie, but I guess that just never happened. And then we've got, I guess, Tim and Detective Pikachu going to this museum where they see this Rayquaza here and a few other Pokemon like Aerodactyl and Tyrantrum. This is from 2017. R.J. Palmer, I guess. I like the fun little light effect it has. That's very good. Then we've got Let There Be Light by Hachel. So we did this one in the Kyogre video, but we could do it again. So it's Arceus with a bunch of like fire kind of effect with a bunch of different Pokemon and a sort of shadowed Giratina. So we've got Rayquaza, Groudon, Kyogre, Palkia, Dialga, Thundurus, White Kyurem, Black Kyurem, Celebi, Mew, Landorus, Tornadus, Uxie, Mesprit, Azelf, Xerneas, and Yveltal. It's a very nice image. I really like it. And we've got Oh Yeah by Green042. So this nice image of a more realistic Mega Rayquaza here. It's very nice. Kind of like the idea of it just kind of being light. That's interesting. Then we've got Rayquaza by Arvalis. So their version of Rayquaza. We saw the production image earlier. I think this is from 2014. So it says, Rayquaza, number 384, Sky High Pokemon, ability Airlock, height 23 feet, length 70 feet. It's got a bunch of Pokemon here. We got an Emolga and thing, and another Emolga. We got a few Emolga, it looks like. a Braviary, a Pidgeot, Talonflame, Altaria, and Skarmory here. As you can see, they're a lot more realistic-like. It's interesting how they interpreted a lot of these elements. I also like the lighting effect on this one. Then we've got Pokemon Rayquaza by Mark331. So this nice image of a Rayquaza here. Seems to be from 2011. Then we've got Rayquaza by Crescentia Fortuna. So this nice image of a Rayquaza here, slightly stylized, I think. Yeah, very well done. Then we've got Rayquaza by Crow Party. This nice image of a Rayquaza here. Yeah. Kinda looks like it could also be a poster. Then we've got Mega Rayquaza by Infinite Pieces, or IQ Ball Putra. I don't know if that's an older name or not. So this nice image of Mega Rayquaza here. Looks to be from 2014. Then we've got Mega Rayquaza and Rayquaza by Lindsay W. Art. So you can see sort of this more realistic Rayquaza, Mega Rayquaza here. See there, reference images. Yeah, I like it. Then we've got Mega Rayquaza by Sea Baby 250. So this nice image of a Mega Rayquaza here, very stylized, a little bit more realistic. And we've got Deoxys versus Rayquaza, Tales of Elysium by Hachel. So we've got this image of a Rayquaza and a Deoxys fighting. Then we've got Mega Rayquaza by Seamy. So this nice image of a Mega Rayquaza here. Very well done. Then we've got ORAS by Deerhead. So we've got Groudon and Primal Groudon. Rayquaza and Mega Rayquaza. And Kyogre and Primal Kyogre. A very nice image here. And that seems to be the end of the page results, so we'll move on. Thanks to everyone who submitted fan art. I'll be streaming tonight at 9 p.m. CDT, Central Daylight Time, where I'll be trying to catch a Latios, Groudon, and Rayquaza, get Beldum, and evolve Shelgon into Salamence, and Beldum all the way to Metagross. Tomorrow I'll be talking about Jirachi. As always, this is my proper outfit, you'll see me tomorrow. Hello. Today we'll be talking about Jirachi, the first of two mythical Pokemon introduced in Gen 3, the other being Deoxys, and the final Steel Psychic and Steel-type Pokemon, introduced in Gen 3. Its previous BYC dates are March 17th, 1997, January 6th, 2000, October 27th, 2002, August 17th, 2005, June 7th, 2008, March 29th, 2011, January 17th, 2014, November 7th, 2016, August 29th, 2019, and June 19th, 2022. I think Jirachi is cute. In my mind, I associate Jirachi with the episode The Ghost of Maiden's Peak, which introduced me to the Tenzaku, pieces of paper that people write wishes on during the Star Festival, which are the basis of the strips on Jirachi's head. Growing up, I thought that Jirachi had these on its head because it granted the wishes of any Tanzaku, not just the ones on its head, kind of like how Tropius has banana-like fruit growing out of its neck, because the species ate a lot of that fruit. I most know Jirachi from Jirachi Wishmaker, which happens to be what we'll be watching during the anime section. I also know Jirachi is one of my servers in Pokemon Cafe Remix. Anyway, let's get to the Bulbapedia article. Hello and welcome to the Bulbapedia section of the video. Today we'll be talking about Jirachi, the Wish Pokemon, whose number is 0385. This is what it looks like. Its type is Steel Psychic, ability Serene Grace, gender ratio, gender unknown. Catch rate is 3 or 1.6%. Breeding, egg group, no eggs discovered. Hatch time 120 cycles. Egg not obtainable. Height 1 foot or 0.3 meters. Weight 2.4 pounds or 1.1 kilograms. Basic Experience Yield is 215 in Gen 3 through 4 and 275 plus. Leveling rate is slow. EV is 3 in HP. Shape is that. Footprint is that. Pokedex color is yellow and base friendship is 100. Jirachi is a dual type Steel/Psychic mythical Pokemon introduced in Gen 3. Is not known to evolve into or from any other Pokemon. Biology, Jirachi is a small white humanoid Pokemon. It has short, stubby legs and comparatively longer arms. There are flaps on the undersides of its arms which give the impression of long sleeves. On its belly is a curved seam which conceals a third yellow eye with a cyan pupil, known as its true eye. Additionally, Jirachi has a normal pair of ovalish eyes on its face, with small blue triangular markings underneath. On its head is a large yellow structure with 3 points extending outward, one from the top and one on either side. On each point is a teal tag known as a wish tag. A rounded extension hangs from either side of the yellow structure framing Jirachi's face. 2 yellow streamers flow from Jirachi's back, resembling comet tails. Jirachi hibernates for most of its life, awakening for 7 days every 1,000 years. It can also be awakened if sung to by a voice of purity. While it sleeps, a tough crystalline shell envelops its body to protect it from enemies. However, it is still capable of fighting while asleep when its shell is not enough to protect it, as seen in Pokémon Mystery Dungeon. During the short periods when it is awake, Jirachi is said to grant wishes. However, in the movie Jirachi Wishmaker, Jirachi cannot create an object that is desired from a wish. Instead, it teleports the desired object to the person that made the wish. By contrast, in the Pokémon, the series Black and White episode, Searching for a Wish, it displays the ability to grant wishes without the use of teleportation. In the Pokémon Adventures manga, Jirachi will only grant wishes when its true eye is opened. Additionally, it can only grant 3 wishes every 1,000 years, which are written on each of its 3 wish tags. In this canon, Jirachi is shown being able to create artificial Pokémon through its wishes, animating a mass of seawater in the shape of a Kyogre. Jirachi's power is similarly exploited in the movie to create a monstrous Groudon. The movie further reveals that Jirachi's awakening is linked to the appearance of the Millennium Comet, and that its third eye has the ability to absorb the energy Jirachi needs for hibernation. It is said that Jirachi's ability to grant wishes also gives it great attack power, as seen when it creates a concentrated bundle of light to blast its target. Although it is extremely rare, Jirachi can be found in the mountains. Jirachi is the only known Pokemon capable of learning the move Doom Desire. Jirachi's true eye open. Jirachi enveloped by a tough crystalline shell. Game data, NPC appearances, Pokemon Pinball, Ruby and Sapphire. While in the ruins, one of the slot machine prizes is a chance to capture Jirachi. Jirachi will move around and must be hit 3 times in 30 seconds for the capture to be successful. There's only 1 chance per pinball game. Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Explorers of Sky. Jirachi is the final boss of the special episode Bidoof's Wish. Pokemon Super Mystery Dungeon. Jirachi is the astronomer of the Expedition Society and a self-proclaimed genius capable of fixing the Pokemon Nexus. He mentions to have been born in Star Cave, the location where Jirachi could be found in Explorers of Sky. Pokedex entries in Gen 3 and Ruby. A legend states that Jirachi will make true any wish that is written on notes attached to its head when it awakens. If this Pokemon senses danger, it will fight without awakening. Sapphire. Jirachi will awaken from its sleep of 1,000 years if you sing to it in a voice of purity. It is said to make true any wish that people desire. Emerald. Jirachi is said to make wishes come true. While it sleeps, a tough crystalline shell envelops the body to protect it from enemies. Fire Red and Leaf Green. It is said to make any wish come true. It is awake for only 7 days out of 1,000 years. For Gen 4, because I know what Ash's Pokedex sounds like in Gen 4, I will try to emulate the voice to the best of my ability for the Gen 4 section. Diamond, Pearl, Platinum. It is said to have the ability to grant any wish for just 1 week every 1,000 years. Heart Gold and Soul Silver. Generations have believed that any wish written on a note on its head will come true when it awakens. The Gen 5 entries are Diamond, Pearl, and Platinums. In Gen 6, X is Heart Gold and Soul Silver's entry. Y is Diamond, Pearl, Platinum in the Gen 5 entries. Omega Ruby is basically rubies, but Jirachi and Pokemon are now the correct casing. Alpha Sapphire is basically sapphires, but Jirachi is now the correct casing. In Gen 8, Sword. Once every 1,000 years, the singing of a pure voice will rouse this Pokemon from its near-perpetual slumber. It wakes for only 7 days. Pokedex entry only found in Pokemon Home. Shield. It's believed that when this Pokemon wakes from its 1,000-year slumber, it will grant any wishes written on the notes attached to its head. Pokedex entry only found in Pokemon Home. In Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, it is said to wake up for just 7 days every 1,000 years and use its power to grant any wish. Game locations, side game locations, and events. Held items when receiving a Jirachi from Pokemon Coliseum, bonus disc, or Pokemon Channel, it will be holding one of the following berries. A Channel in Coliseum, it can have the Salic Berry 50% of the time, or the Ganlon Berry 50% of the time. Stats, base stats, all of them are 100, so it has a total of 600. Pokeathlon stats, type effectiveness, damage normally by fighting, bug, water, and electric, weak to ground, ghost, fire, and dark, all for double. Immune to poison, resistant to normal, flying, rock, steel, grass, ice, dragon, and fairy, all for half, and psychic for a fourth. Notes: if this Pokemon is given a ring target, the effectiveness of Poison-type moves is 1, so go from 0 to 1. Prior to Gen 6, the effectiveness of Dark-type and Ghost-type moves was 1, so they both went from 1 to 2. Learn set by leveling up: 1, Confusion and Wish, 7, Swift, 21, Life Dew, 28, Zen Headbutt, 35, Gravity, 42, Psychic, 49, Meteor Mash, 56 Healing Wish, 63 Rest, 70 Future Sight, 77 Double Edge, 84 Cosmic Power, 91 Last Resort, and 98 Doom Desire. By TM002 Charm, 3 Fake Tears, 5 Mud Slap, 7 Protect, 11 Water Pulse, 16 Side Beam, 17 Confused Ray, 23 Charge Beam, 25 Facade, 32 Swift, 34 Icy Wind, 41 Stored Power, 43 Fling, 47 Endure, 49 Sunny Day, 50 Rain Dance, 51 Sandstorm, 54 Psy Shock, 59 Zen Headbutt, 60 U-Turn, 66 Body Slam, 67 Fire Punch, 68 Thunder Punch, 69 Ice Punch, 70 Sleep Talk, 73 Drain Punch, 74 Reflect, 75 Light Screen, 79 Dazzling Gleam, 80 Metronome, 81 Grass Knot, 82 Thunder Wave, 85 Rest, 92 Imprison, 93 Flash Cannon, 98 Skill Swap, 99 Iron Head, 103 Substitute, 104 Iron Defense, 109 Trick, 112 Aura Sphere, 114 Shadow Ball, 116 Stealth Rock, 119 Energy Ball, 120 Psychic, 122 Encore, 126 Thunderbolt, 127 Play Rough, 128 Amnesia, 129 Calm Mind, 130 Helping Hand, 132 Baton Pass, 152 Giga Impact, 161 Trick Room, 163 Hyper Beam, 166 Thunder, 170 Steel Beam, 171 Terra Blast, 178 Gravity, 203 Psych Up, 204 Double Edge, 217 Future Sight, 218 Expanding Force, 220 Meteor Beam, 223 Metal Sound, 228 Psychic Noise. Vibrating is nothing. Animated series only moves. Teleport, it's a psychic type move. In the episode Jirachi Wishmaker. TCG only moves. Side Wave on this card. Side game data, you got all this. Okay. Pokepark Wii, Pikachu's Adventure, the Pokepark Pad entry. Jirachi awakened to find himself. In the Pokepark, he delights in playing games and brings a happy atmosphere to his favorite Venusaur's Vine Swing. Got all this. Ooh. New Pokemon Snap in the Photodex entry. Jirachi's wondrous power allows it to grant any wishes, written on the notes attached to its head. I hardly dared hope when we first saw its crystal shell, but I'm so glad we were lucky enough to encounter it. In Pokemon Go, Jirachi can be obtained by completing the special research, a 1,000-year slumber when attempting to catch Jirachi in Pokemon Go. Several Pokemon can be seen singing in the background. Jirachi is one of very few Pokemon, like Meloetta, with a unique catch environment in Pokemon Go. Evolution data is just Jirachi. Sprites here, so... Oh, interesting. The eyes actually open. Oh! That's counterintuitive to the movie. It's supposed to say closed. Weird. Its eyes are like blue? That's interesting. And these are a little darker than the modern kind of color. And there's a lot darker yellows. Its body is red. Eyes, red, these, pink body. That's very creepy looking. I don't know why they decided that would be a good idea. Okay, in Gen 4, they make it a lot cuter. Yeah, this is different kind of white, looks like. Probably different yellow. Yeah, the blue is now this sort of lighter blue. The red for the shiny is not... Yeah, the pupils aren't the color anymore, so it doesn't look creepy. And the eye is closed, which it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be open. Yes, in Gen 5, looks a little bit plumper, I guess. It's kind of hard to really know what it's supposed to look like with it kind of in that pose. But yeah, interesting. We get full back sprites as well. Gen 6, get the models. Pretty good adaptation, I'd say. Definitely, I don't know. The eyes being like the weird... this definitely like, feels better because like the eyes are just like dots, white dots. But these like actually feel like real eyes of a creature. Like, yeah. Not the creepy, kind of soulless doll-looking eyes. Gen 7, a little changes it looks like, but not a whole lot. Yeah. Gen 8, Sword and Shield, so way better models, of course. And you can see, like, the sparkle inside homes. You got these models. Animation, Jirachi in Pokemon the series. Jirachi, the 6th movie, is the big one. The Pokedex entries in Black and White, episode 132, in Ash's Pokedex. Jirachi, the Wish Pokemon, reputed to have the power to grant wishes. Jirachi only awakens for 7 days every 1,000 years. Gotcha, in the manga, Jirachi in Pokemon Adventures. Got all this. TCG. Other appearances, Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Jirachi appears as a rare Pokeball Pokemon in its first appearance in the Super Smash Bros. Series. The chance of it appearing is 1 in 493, the amount of Pokemon in the Generation 4 National Pokedex. Like the other secret Pokemon, it drops rare items before flying away. In Jirachi's case, the items are stickers. So you got Jirachi in Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Trophy information. A wish Pokemon. It's said to awaken for 7 days, once every 1,000 years, with the ability to grant any wish asked of it. It is truly a Pokemon of which dreams are made. In combat, it uses its wish power to attack. Its attack, Doom Desire, which causes light to rain down from the heavens to do tremendous damage, is especially powerful. Super Smash Bros. For Wii U, Jirachi appears as a trophy. Trophy information. Since Jirachi is only awake for 7 days every 1,000 years, it's an even bigger sleeper than Snorlax. It can't just be sleeping the whole time, though. It's probably hard at work deep in the land of dreams, strengthening its ability to grant people's wishes. If it detects danger while asleep, it can fight without even waking up. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Jirachi appears as a spirit. Trivia, in the Pokemon Adventures manga, Team Aqua leader Archie uses Jirachi's power to create a Kyogre monster, whereas in the movie Jirachi Wishmaker, former Team Magma member Butler uses Jirachi's power to create a Groudon monster. Jirachi was the first mythical Pokemon to have a signature move. Jirachi was the first Pokemon to be distributed via Nintendo Wi-Fi connection. Previously, only the event items needed to obtain Pokemon have been distributed via Wi-Fi. Jirachi is the only Generation 3 Pokemon that cannot be obtained in any of the Hoenn-based games without an event. Jirachi is the only pre-Gen 4 legendary or mythical Pokemon that has not been featured in any of the Ranger games. Although Jirachi's gender unknown in the core series games is referred to as male in Pokemon Super Mystery Dungeon. Jirachi was originally only available as shiny in Gen 3 due to a set of bugs wherein Jirachi obtained via Pokemon Channel or the North American version of the Pokemon Coliseum bonus disc were not intended by the developers to be obtainable as shiny, but were possible to obtain as shiny regardless. Despite being legitimately attainable in Gen 3, shiny Jirachi were previously locked out of Gen 6's Wi-Fi features prior to an update, and were also blocked from entering Pokemon Bank until after the 2014 Tanabata Shiny Jirachi event was released in Gen 6. This makes Jirachi the only Pokemon to have undergone this kind of issue. Origin, Jirachi appears to be based on the concept of wishing upon a star, the practice of making a wish while observing meteors in the night sky. Its pointed head is shaped like a literal star, and its steel type may be a reference to iron meteorites. The tags on paper on its head resemble Tanzaku, strips of paper on which wishes are written during the Japanese festival Tanabata, also known as the Star Festival. The fact that it is awake for only 7 days may be a reference to how the festival always takes place on the 7th day of the 7th lunar month. Its 1,000-year sleep, followed by a short period of consciousness, may be a reference to comets, most of which are visible from Earth only once in a lifetime, and the 2 long streamers attached to its body resemble a comet tail. Its humanoid appearance and ability to grant wishes may also be inspired by Arabic myths about the jinn, also known as genies. In some folk tales, such as Aladdin, imprisoned genies would grant wishes to the person who released them. The eye on Jirachi's belly might be a reference to the third eye, which is believed to provide perception beyond ordinary sight, fitting its psychic type. Name origin, Jirachi may be derived from Jilat, Russian for to wish. It may also involve Jin and Sachi, Japanese for fortune. In other languages, related articles, external links to the mythical Pokemon in the Super Smash Bros. Series. Let's move on. Now let's watch Jirachi's first scene in the anime. Hello and welcome to the anime portion of the video. Today we are watching, quite fittingly, Jirachi Wishmaker. In this film, Ash Ketchum, the main character, shall the companions Brock, May, and Max, as well as his faithful Pokemon Pikachu, have come to the Millennium Festival to watch the Millennium Comet, a comet that is said to appear once every millennium. And it is passing by them right now, and Max was given a crystal that talked to him, and now the crystal is transforming into a Pokemon. Ash Pikachu. There's Jirachi. Max.
Jirachi! It's true.
It's really kind of cute.
Hi, I'm Max.
Hello, Max.
I'm Ash, and this is Pikachu. And my name's May.
I'm Brock. Nice to meet ya.
Pikachu. Hello, Ash. Pikachu. May. Brock.
That is Jirachi's first scene in the anime. Let's move on. Now let's see why other people love Jirachi. Hello and welcome to the community post section of the video. Today the question is, what do you love about Jirachi? And for the first time in this series, we have more than one person responding. So the first one is T for Qlar. They respond with "he's so cute." And then Beast Boy 2K4 responds with "ability to spam Ironhead with high chance of flinch because of ability." Thank you to both of you. Let's move on. Now let's look at fan art. Hello and welcome to the fan art section of the video. Nobody sent in fan art, so instead we're looking at DeviantArt fan art. For those of you who aren't familiar with the series, what we do is we go through these images until we find an image that doesn't contain a Jirachi. So this is Jirachi by Poomfy. This really nice image of a Jirachi here. Very well done. Like all the effects and stuff. Then we've got Jirachi and Friends by Hell Knight 10. So we've got this big Jirachi here, and it's winking, and we've got Victini, Landform Shaman, Manaphy, Celebi, and Mew, all the sort of cute legendary Pokemon. Then we've got Jirachi by Nevadoodle. This nice Jirachi image, maybe slightly stylized. I kind of like all the effects, the background and stuff, yeah. Platineko, I don't know if that's his original name or not. Then we've got Jirachi by Green042, so this nice sepia tone image of Jirachi here at Christmas time, I guess, getting a present. It's very nice. And we've got Jirachi, Wishing Star by Solar Bank. So we've got this nice image of a regular Jirachi and a shiny Jirachi here with the star. Yes, very well done. Seems to be from 2015. This is Jirachi by Cyan. So this unique image of a Jirachi here. And this is a unique background. Then we've got Pokemon 20th Anniversary, Jirachi by Solar Bank. I guess a poster of Jirachi here. It's very well done. Then we've got Jirachi by Lunar Thunderstorm. So this nice image of a Jirachi in the night sky. With a bunch of meteors. Yeah, very well done. Then we've got Make Your Wish Come True by Dreamy Normie. So this nice image of a Jirachi here. Yeah. Well done. Then we've got Jirachi by FoxDemon12. This little art here seems to be taken from Jirachi Wishmaker. That's kind of fun. Then we've got Wishing Star by Am Bunny. This nice image of a Jirachi kind of floating, I guess. Then we've got Jirachi by Sylvie's Shiny Star. This stylized Jirachi here. Very nice. Then we've got Jirachi by JCA. This nice Jirachi here. Kind of looks like a poster. The moon's a little bit more realistic. Kind of has a little bit more realistic depth to it. And the stars are very well done. Then we've got Jirachi by MCG Mark. It's kind of weirdly uncanny. Almost a similar version to the last image, but yeah, very much more uncanny. I think the lack of color in the eyes, I think, is maybe the big reason. Yeah, and a little bit more realistic, I guess. And this doesn't contain a Jirachi, so we'll move on. Thanks to everyone who submitted fan art. I'll be streaming tonight at 9 p.m. CDT Central Daylight Time, where I'll be trying to catch a Latias, Latios, Groudon, and Rayquaza, get Beldum, and evolve Shelgon into Salamence, and Beldum all the way to Metagross. Tomorrow I'll be talking about Deoxys, as always. This is my proper outfit, and you'll see me tomorrow. Hello! Today we'll be talking about Deoxys, the final Pokemon of Gen 3. Second of two mythical Pokemon introduced in Gen 3, the other being Jirachi, and the final Psychic-type Pokemon introduced in Gen 3. Its previous BYC dates are March 18th, 1997, January 7th, 2000, October 28th, 2002, August 18th, 2005, June 8th, 2008, March 30th, 2011, January 18th, 2014, November 8th, 2016, August 30th, 2019, and June 20th, 2022. I think the different forms based on the basic stats are interesting. I most know Deoxys from Destiny Deoxys, which happens to be what we'll be watching in the anime section. Anyway, let's get into the Bulbapedia article. Hello and welcome to the Bulbapedia section of the video. Today we'll be talking about Deoxys, the DNA Pokemon, whose number is 0386. This is normal form Deoxys, this is what it looks like. This is attack form Deoxys, this is what it looks like. This is defense form Deoxys, this is what it looks like. And this is speed form Deoxys, this is what it looks like. Its type is Psychic, ability Pressure. Gender ratios, gender unknown. Catch rate is 3, 1.6%. Breeding is egg group, no eggs discovered. Hatch time 120 cycles, egg not obtainable. Height is 5'7" or 1.7 meters. Weight is 134 pounds or 60.8 kilograms. Base experience yield 215 for the final time in Gen 3 through 4, and 170 in 5+. Leveling rate slow. EV yield is 3. 1 in attack, 1 in special attack, and 1 in speed for normal form. 2 in attack, and 1 in special attack for attack form, 2 in defense and 1 in special defense for defense form, and 3 in speed for speed form. Shape is that, footprint is that, Pokédex color is red, and base friendship is 0. Red is interesting. I guess it kind of looks red here. It's definitely orange, but since they don't have orange, I guess it's probably better than brown. Guess they could have gone with blue, though, or purple. That would have made, or gray. Like, any of those colors would make more sense. Deoxys is a psychic-type mythical Pokemon introduced in Gen 3. While it's not known to evolve into or from any other Pokemon, Deoxys has 4 forms: normal form, attack form, defense form, and speed form. It can change between its forms by interacting with certain meteorites. It is associated with Rayquaza. Biology: Deoxys is an alien-like bipedal Pokemon that has 4 forms, each focused on a different stat. The main components that are constant for all 4 forms are dominantly a red color, a light blue face, and 3 light blue dots on its back arranged in a triangle. There is a purple stripe running down the center of its face and a purple crystalline organ in its chest. Its white circular eyes are set inside rectangular black eye sockets. Deoxys was formed by the mutation of a virus from space. The Pokemon is highly intelligent. Its brain appears to be the crystal in its chest. This organ is capable of firing laser beams. It was also shown the ability to morph its tentacles into human-like hands. While inactive, it can also take the form of a triangular stone tablet. As shown in Destiny Deoxys, it is able to regenerate any part of its body that it may have lost during a battle. Deoxys forming human-like hands. It has also demonstrated the ability to create an aurora without changing its form. These auroras can have different electromagnetic wavelengths and are used to communicate with other Deoxys. It is also shown that the various electromagnetic waves given off by people, Pokemon, and all electronics can obscure its vision if there is enough interference with its communication. Deoxys different forms each possess different abilities and techniques. In Destiny Deoxys and Pokemon Adventures, Deoxys has been observed to create clones of itself. These clones have lifeless eyes and duller color, lack the trademark crystal on its chest, and seem to be unable to change from the normal form. Furthermore, they seem unable to morph their tentacles into hands. When these clones are defeated, they dissolve into dusk-like particles. Deoxys is bitter enemies with Rayquaza, with the two often clashing with each other, as depicted in several media. Deoxys is an extraterrestrial Pokemon that was coming towards the planet inside the Grand Meteor Delta during the Delta episode. However, the meteor is destroyed and Deoxys is defeated before any of them could get to the planet by the player and Mega Rayquaza. Deoxys is the only known Pokemon capable of learning the move Psycho Boost by leveling up. Forms: Deoxys has 4 forms: normal form, attack form, defense form, and speed form. Normal form: in its normal form, Deoxys has tapering legs with a segmented vertical blue stripe on the upper portion. The abdomen is black with vertical lines, while the majority of its skin is reddish-orange. The arms are capable of taking different forms, usually a pair of tentacles coiled in a double helix. One tentacle is the primary skin color, while the other is light blue. It can form more humanoid arms with a red top and blue underside, and a 5-fingered hand. This form has a blunt protrusion with a single blue stripe on either side of its head and stubby tail. Attack form: while in its attack form, Deoxys' legs remain tapered. However, its blue stripes are no longer segmented and run the entire length of the leg, and there is now a large spike on the knee. 2 pairs of whip-like tentacles with pointed tips, one reddish-orange and one blue, replace its previous coiled blunt tentacles. The protrusions on its head are now triangular, with an additional one extending from the top of its head. Most of its reddish-orange skin has receded, revealing a striated black chest and abdomen. Finally, its tail is now longer and more pointed. Deoxys in the form of a triangular stone tablet. Deoxys regenerating itself. Defense form: Deoxys' defense form has bulky, wide legs that are somewhat flat at the end, with a bluish-green spot on each knee. It retains 2 pairs of red and blue tentacles, but they are now flattened and broad. The head has fused with its body, and all protrusions are gone, causing it to resemble a helmet. The reddish-orange skin now covers the entire body, so none of its inner black portions are visible. There is now a single blue stripe on each shoulder, and its tail has disappeared. Speed form: the speed form of this Pokemon has a sleek black body with thin striation. The reddish-orange skin now covers only its head, hip, joints, and the area around its crystal. There is now only 1 tentacle on each side of its body, one red and one blue. The protrusions on its head now point upward, and the back of its head now forms a long spike. There is a long, thick blue stripe running down the center of this longer protrusion. More blue stripes appear on either hip joint and on its legs. Got normal form, attack form, defense form, and speed form. Game data, NPC appearances, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, Red Rescue Team, and Blue Rescue Team. Deoxys first appears after the completion of the main story, where Xatu and Blastoise mention a new cave formed by the meteorite shards destroyed by Rayquaza. Upon reaching the final floor of the dungeon, an amnesiac Deoxys will fight the player, asking for the answers of the cave's origins. Pokemon Super Mystery Dungeon. Deoxys first appears while traveling space when is nearly hit by a fleeing Mega Rayquaza, and is surprised that even the fellow legendary Pokemon would be frightened as such. Like the other legendaries, he learns of Dark Matter's intention to eliminate all life by sending the Tree of Life into the sun. Deoxys and Mega Rayquaza later oppose the Tree of Life's ascent from space, but when dark matter regenerates itself, it lets out a massive shockwave that turns all the legendary Pokemon into stone, including Deoxys and Mega Rayquaza. After dark matter is defeated and the petrified Pokemon are restored, Deoxys will take its residence at Meteorite Crater. Spoiler warning, this article may contain major plot or ending details. Detective Pikachu returns. Deoxys plays a notable role during the climax of the game, where it is revealed that the famous jewel known as the Aurora Drop is actually the crystal core of a Deoxys. Scientist Charles Murlock restores Deoxys' body and fuses his mind with it, becoming one with Deoxys. He fights Mewtwo until Detective Pikachu undoes the fusion, reducing Deoxys to nothing but a crystal core once more, and returning Murlock's mind to his body. Spoilers end here. Pokedex entries for the final time in Gen 3. Normal form. In Ruby, the DNA of a space virus underwent a sudden mutation upon exposure to a laser beam, and resulted in Deoxys. The crystalline organ on this Pokemon's chest appears to be its brain. Sapphire, Deoxys emerged from a virus that came from space. It is highly intelligent and wields psychokinetic powers. This Pokemon shoots lasers from the crystalline organ on its chest. Attack form, Fire Red. This Deoxys has transformed into its aggressive guise. It can fool enemies by altering its appearance. Defense form, in Leaf Green, an aura appears. It absorbs attacks by altering its cellular structure. Speed form, in Emerald, a Pokemon that mutated from an extraterrestrial virus exposed to a laser beam. Its body is configured for superior agility and speed. In Gen 4, since I know the voice of Ash's Pokedex in Gen 4, I'll try to emulate that to the best of my ability. Diamond, Pearl, Platinum. An alien virus that fell to Earth on a meteor underwent a DNA mutation to become this Pokemon. Heart Gold and Soul Silver. DNA from a space virus mutated and became a Pokemon. It appears where auroras are seen. The Gen 5 Pokedex entries are Diamond, Pearl, and Platinums. In Gen 6, so is X's. Y's, Heart Gold and Soul Silver's entry. Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, basically Ruby and Sapphires, but Deoxys and Pokemon are not the correct casing. The Gen 8 Pokedex entries is Diamond and Pearl counterpart. Game locations, side game locations, and events. Held items and events. Never Melt Ice 100% of the time. Petaya Berry 50% of the time. Ganlon Berry 50% of the time. Life Orb 100% of the time. Stats, base stats will compare all of its forms. So HP 50, that stays the same among them all. Attack 150, that goes up to 180 in the attack form, goes down to 70 in its defense form, and down to 95 in its speed form. Defense 50, that goes down to 20 in its attack form, goes up to 160 in its defense form, and goes up to 90 in its speed form. Special attack 150, that goes up to 180 in its attack form, down to 70 in its defense form, and down to 95 in its speed form. Special defense 50, that goes down to 20 in its attack form, goes up to 165 in its defense form, and up to 90 in its speed form. Speed 150, that stays the same with its attack form. It goes down to 90 in its defense form, up to 180 in its speed form. So they all have a total of 600. Pokeathlon stats, you got all these. I'm not gonna read them still. Type effectiveness, damage normally by normal, flying, poison, ground, rock, steel, fire, water, grass, electric, ice, dragon, and fairy. Weak to bug, ghost, and dark all for double, immune to nothing, resistant to fighting, and psychic for half. Learn set by leveling up in its normal form. 1. Leer and Wrap, 7. Nightshade, 13. Teleport, 19. Knockoff, 25. Psyshock, 31. Psychic, 37. Gravity, 43. Skill Swap, 49. Zen Headbutt, 55. Cosmic Power, 61. Recover, 67. Psycho Boost, and 73. Hyper Beam. Attack form, 1 Lyra and Wrap, 7 Nightshade, 13 Teleport, 19 Taunt, 25 Psyshock, 31 Psychic, 37 Superpower, 43 Skill Swap, 49 Zen Headbutt, 55 Cosmic Power, 61 Zap Cannon, 67 Psycho Boost, and 73 Hyper Beam. Defense form, 1 Lyra and Wrap, 7 Nightshade, 13 Teleport, 19 Knockoff, 25 Spikes, 31 Psychic, 37 Protect, 43 Skill Swap, 49 Zen Headbutt, 55 Iron Defense and Amnesia, 61 Recover, 67 Psycho Boost, and 73 Counter and Mirror Coat. Speed form, 1 Leer and Wrap, 7 Nightshade, 13 Double Team, 19 Knockoff, 25 Psyshock, 31 Psychic, 37 Swift, 43 Skill Swap, 49 Zen Headbutt, 55 Agility, 61 Recover, 67 Psycho Boost, and 73 Extreme Speed. By TM, all forms, TM001 Takedown, 4 Agility, 6 Scary Face, 7 Protect, 11 Water Pulse, 12 Low Kick, 16 Psy Beam, 23 Charge Beam, 25 Facade, 27 Aerial Ace, 32 Swift, 34 Icy Wind, 36 Rock Tomb, 39 Low Sweep, 41 Sword Power, 42 Nightshade, 43 Fling, 47 Endure, 49 Sunny Day, 50 Rain Dance, 54 Psyshock, 58 Brick Break, 59 Zen Headbutt, 67 Fire Punch, 68 Thunder Punch, 69 Ice Punch, 70 Sleep Talk, 73 Drain Punch, 74 Reflect, 75 Light Screen, 81 Grass Knot, 82 Thunder Wave, 83 Poison Jab, 84 Stomping Tantrum, 85 Rest, 86 Rock Slide, 92 Imprison, 93 Flash Cannon, 94 Dark Pulse, 98 Skill Swap, 103 Substitute, 109 Trick, 114 Shadow Ball, 116 Stealth Rock, 119 Energy Ball, 120 Psychic, 126 Thunderbolt, 129 Calm Mind, 135 Ice Beam, 138 Psychic Terrain, 152 Giga Impact, 158 Focus Blast, 161 Trick Room, 163 Hyper Beam, 166 Thunder, 168 Solar Beam, 171 Terror Blast, 178 Gravity, 181 Knockoff, 202 Pain Split, 203 Psych Up, 217 Future Sight, 218 Expanding Force, 220 Meteor Beam, 221 Throat Chop, and 228 Psychic Noise. Normal form, TM 140 Nasty Plot. It's a Dark status move. Has no power, has no accuracy, and speed beacon has 20. Attack form, 87 Taunt and 140 Nasty Plot. Defense form, 87 Taunt, 90 Spikes, 104 Iron Defense, and 128 Amnesia. Speed form, 87 Taunt, 128 Amnesia, and 140 Nasty Plot. By breeding, there's nothing side game data for normal form. You've got all this. Pokemon Ranger in the browser entry. Deoxys has the ability to transform 4 ways. Little is known about it, however. Guardian Signs. It launches a beam of energy at Pokemon. Got all this. Pokepark Wii, Pikachu's Adventure, the Pokepark bad entry. Deoxys made his way to the Pokepark, chasing after a shining prism piece. He's a dazzling performer at Rayquaza's Balloon Panic. Got all this. Attack form. You got all this. Pokemon Ranger, the browser entry. Deoxys has the ability to transform 4 ways. Little is known about it, however. Guardian Signs. It launches a beam of energy at Pokemon. You got all this. Defense form. You got all this. Pokemon Ranger, the browser entry. Deoxys has the ability to transform 4 ways. Little is known about it, however. In Guardian Signs, it launches a beam of energy at Pokemon. You got all this. Speed form. You got all this. Pokemon Ranger, the browser entry. Deoxys has the ability to transform 4 ways. Little is known about it, however. Guardian Signs, it launches a beam of energy at Pokemon. Got all this. Form data. Deoxys has 4 different forms, which it can switch between. It was the first Pokemon whose base stats and moves it could learn differed depending on its form. In Gen 3, Deoxys' forms are game-specific, such that it will always be in one particular form while in the player's possession, although it will always be in normal form in the wild. Its form can only be changed by trading it to a different game. In Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire, Pokemon Colosseum, and Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness, it will be in its normal form. In Pokemon Fire Red, it will be in its attack form. In Pokemon Leaf Green, it will be in its defense form. In Pokemon Emerald, it will be in its speed form. From Generation 4 to Generation 8, the player can change its form by interacting with certain meteorites while it is in the party. In Pokemon Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, Brilliant Diamond, and Shining Pearl, using meteorites outside in Veilstone City. In Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver, using meteorites outside on Route 3. In Pokemon Black, White, Black 2 and White 2, using the meteorite in Acrine Museum in Acrine City. In Pokemon X and Y, using meteorites in the Fossil Lab in Ambret Town. In Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, using the meteorite in Professor Cosmo's house in Fall Arbor Town. And in Pokemon Sun, Moon, Ultra Sun, and Ultra Moon, using the meteorite next to Sophocles in Hakulani Observatory on Mount Hakulani. In Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, the player can win a meteorite from an auction at the Porto Marinada Market if they own a Deoxys. When used, the meteorite will cycle Deoxys to its next form in the order of normal form, attack form, defense form, speed form. So, Deoxys, normal form, goes to attack form, defense form, and speed form. Deoxys' normal form is the default form it takes. In this form, it has very high attack, special attack, and speed, but low defense and special defense, alongside a low HP stat, which remains the same in all of its forms. Deoxys' attack form has even higher attack and special attack than its other forms, and learns more offensive moves. Its defense and special defense are abysmal, much lower than those of its normal form. Its speed remains the same as in its normal form. Deoxys' defense form has much higher defense and special defense than its other forms, and learns more defensive moves. Its attack, special attack, and speed are much lower than those of its normal form. Deoxys' speed form has much higher speed than its other forms, having the second highest speed of all Pokemon, and learns many moves with increased priority. Additionally, its defense and special defense are higher than its normal form, although its attack and special attack are lower than in its normal form. So we did all this already, but yeah, this is all the things. Yeah, we already read all this. Evolution data, Deoxys, sprites here, so... Okay, a little different, more pointed, with a little bit more, yeah, interesting. That's a little bit more green-like. Definitely more orange. I don't know why it was ever really considered red. Got shiny here as well. Sort of yellow and kind of greenish color. Interesting. Then an emerald. We get introduced to the speed form. So, yeah, I got that. It's pretty cool. Probably less pointy or something. I don't know, there's probably some difference. The shiny is basically the same concept. Then in Fire Red, we were introduced to the attack form. That's basically the same concept, you know. Then we're introduced to the defense form, a little bit more wobbly than I think of it usually, but not much changes, I don't think. You got that, okay. And in 4, you got all the forms now, so you can see how different they all look. It's a little bit more detailed, looks like, you know, probably the modern technology. Colors change a little bit. You can see it's changing its tentacles to its hand, that's pretty interesting. Yeah, you got these. Got the shinies, not really much changes. In Gen 5, you get the full back sprites, and these colors. The chest crystal thing is a lot more prominently done. Yeah. And not really much, yeah, I got all that, yeah. Okay, in Gen 6, the modern colors and the models, pretty good adaptation, I'd say. Is that when it becomes a lot more... No, it becomes a lot more... When does it become a lot more blunt? I guess in Gen... Well, let's see. In Gen 4, as it kind of becomes more of that blunt rather than pointed size. Okay. Yep, and then you go these and the shiny. Not really much changes. Gen 7, you got all these. Not really much changes. Homes, you got all these. Yep. Animation, normal form Deoxys in Pokemon the series. Deoxys, the 7th movie is the big one. Yeah, Deoxys anime is another big one. Oh, there you got all this. Attack form Deoxys, defense form Deoxys, and speed form Deoxys. Pokemon generations, normal form Deoxys and Pokemon generations. Attack form Deoxys, defense form Deoxys, and speed form Deoxys. Got all this in the manga. Deoxys in its normal form in Pokemon Adventures. Pokemon Adventure. Attack form Deoxys, defense form Deoxys, and speed form Deoxys. You got that in color, that's fun. Pokemon Diamond and Pearl Adventure. Deoxys in its normal form in Pokemon Diamond and Pearl Adventure. Attack form Deoxys. Defense form Deoxys. Speed form Deoxys. Pokemon Pocket Monsters. Deoxys in its normal form in Pokemon Pocket Monsters. Attack form Deoxys, defense form Deoxys, and speed form Deoxys. Pokemon Ranger the Comic Double Mission. Deoxys in its normal form in Pokemon Ranger the Comic Double Mission. Attack form Deoxys, defense form Deoxys, speed form Deoxys. In the TCG, other appearances, Super Smash Bros. Brawl. An attack form Deoxys will sometimes be released from a Pokeball. It floats towards the top of the screen and does a spin. It will then shoot a powerful Hyper Beam, drawing in all the opponents near it and sending them flying. Coming in contact with Deoxys' body will do damage. So Deoxys in Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Trophy information. A DNA Pokemon born through the mutation of the DNA of a space virus. It has multiple forms, and the abilities it possesses and the techniques it can remember change from form to form. It has 4 forms: normal, attack, defense, and speed. It can be made to change forms by using the power of a meteorite in Veilstone City. Super Smash Bros. For Nintendo 3DS/Wii U, Deoxys appears as a Pokeball summon in the 3DS and Wii U versions of the game. Its behavior unchanged from Brawl. It also appears as a trophy in both versions of the game. So you got Deoxys in Super Smash Bros. For 3DS, Deoxys Trophy in Super Smash Bros. For 3DS, Trophy information, the North American version. This Psychic-type Pokemon was born from a virus attached to a meteorite. It has 4 different forms, but in Smash Bros. Only the attack form appears. In battle, it soars skyward before unleashing a powerful Hyper Beam, attacks straight downward from the crystal in its chest. In the PAL version, Deoxys was formed from a mutated virus that came to Earth on a meteorite. It comes in 4 different forms, but in this game, it appears in attack form. When summoned, it heads skywards before firing its Hyper Beam attack straight downwards from the crystal in its chest. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Deoxys appears as a Pokeball summon, retaining the same behavior from the previous games. It also appears as a spirit in normal form. Trivia: Deoxys was the first mythical Pokemon to not have exactly 100 points in each of its base stats. Speed form Deoxys has the highest base speed stat of all Psychic-type Pokemon. Defense form Deoxys has the highest base special defense stat of all Psychic-type Pokemon. The 4th point I read in the Caterpie video, but not the sub-point, so we'll read it. Its attack form also has the lowest base special defense stat of all Psychic-type Pokemon. Deoxys is the only Pokemon whose form change is triggered by different events between generations. When recruited in Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, Red Rescue Team and Blue Rescue Team, Deoxys will be in its normal form when playing in the overworld. However, when exploring a dungeon, Deoxys' form will be randomly selected each time the player progresses to a new floor. Deoxys is also one of 2 Pokemon that has defenses over 100 at level 100, if not given any vitamins or gummies, the other being Lugia. In Pokemon Ranger, Deoxys' form changes every time its browser entry is accessed. It cycles in order from normal to attack form to defense form to speed form and finally back to normal form. In the animated series and related media, including the movie Destiny Deoxys as well as in Pokemon Ranger, Deoxys is able to change forms at will regardless of where it is. While it can willingly change form in Pokemon Adventures, the choices are limited by the environment. Due to the cause of form change in Gen 3 being the game Deoxys is in, only Speed Form Deoxys is banned from the Battle Frontier, as only Speed Form Deoxys is obtainable in Emerald. In the games, the Sevi Islands and or, excluding multiplayer modes and XD, are the only regions where all 4 forms have not been available. Deoxys was the first Pokemon to have its own unique battle music. Using the first letter from the names of Deoxys' 3 debut forms, one can spell DNA, Defense Normal Attack. This is reflected in Deoxys' Pokedex entry in Pokemon Go, which orders its forms on a list as such: Defense, Normal, Attack, Speed. Before Gen 5, Deoxys was the only Pokemon whose stats were recalculated to apply gained effort points to its stats. Immediately after a battle, other Pokemon had to level up, use the box trick, or be fed a vitamin or stat-reducing berry in order to have the effort values apply to their stats. When in the wild, or when looking at a Deoxys belonging to another player, e.g. while trading, it will appear in its normal form in Gen 3. Deoxys was designed by Hironobu Yoshida. Deoxys was the first mythical Pokemon to be obtainable in-game in the core series without any event or distribution in Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, possibly as a result PokemonCenter.com and a scholastic book on legendary and mythical Pokemon erroneously called Deoxys a legendary Pokemon rather than a mythical Pokemon. In a YouTube video celebrating the number of Pokemon after the release of Gen 9, Deoxys is listed with legendary Pokemon, not with mythical Pokemon. Deoxys is the only Pokemon whose Japanese category name is written with characters from a foreign alphabet, being DNA, a cryptographic cipher named Deoxys 2, after the Pokemon was selected as a finalist in the Caesar competition. Origin: Deoxys appears to draw inspiration from certain representations of aliens and visual representations of the nucleic acid double helix. It may also be more loosely based on viruses and mutation. It also strongly resembles the shape of a chromosome, a package containing much of the DNA of an organism. This makes sense due to its ability to duplicate, just like a chromosome does during cell division. Deoxyribonucleic acid, DNA, is a molecule composed of 2 polynucleotide chains that coil around each other to form a double helix, carrying genetic instructions for the development, functioning, growth, and reproduction of all known organisms and many viruses. Normal form Deoxys' arms can sometimes be seen as represented by overlapping helix strands, which resemble the double helix coil of DNA. Name origin: Deoxys is derived from deoxyribonucleic acid, or DNA, the medium of genetic code in cellular organisms. Now, languages. Got the normal form, attack form, defense form, speed form. There are different languages. Related articles, references external links to the mythical Pokemon and the Super Smash Bros. Series. Let's move on. Now let's watch the first scene in the anime featuring Deoxys. Hello and welcome to the anime portion of the video. Today we are watching Pokemon Destiny Deoxys the movie. In this film, we're in the title sequence. There's Deoxys, technically, I guess. It's silhouette anyway. And that is Deoxys first scene in the anime. Let's move on. Now let's see why other people love Deoxys. Hello and welcome to the community post section of the video. Today the question is, what do you love about Deoxys? For this question you can answer with normal form, attack form, defense form, or speed form Deoxys. Beast Boy 2K4 has responded. They say alien who knows a bit too much. Thank you for your response. Let's move on. Now let's look at fan art. Hello and welcome to the fan art section of the video. Nobody sent in fan art, so instead we're looking at TV art fan art. For those of you who aren't familiar with the series, we go through these images until we find an image that doesn't contain a Jirachi. So this first one is Jirachi, defense form by Abel Vera, this realistic version of Deoxys in its defense form. Very well done. And we've got Deoxys by Kidel. So it's Deoxys in its attack form, I guess, get it ready to attack. Yeah, very well done. And we've got Deoxys speed form by Abel Vera, their version of the speed form. That's, yeah, very good. Then we got Deoxys attack form by Abel Vera, so their version of the attack form here. Interesting effect to the camera here. Interesting, yeah. Then we've got Deoxys by Abel Vera, just the regular Deoxys, I guess. Their sort of realistic version of that. And we've got Deoxys by Aocom. Deoxys in attack form, doing some kind of move, I guess. It's probably psychic move. Then we got Ultimate Deoxys by Infinite Pieces, so I guess it's a bunch of the different forms all mashed together. It's kind of fun. Looks to be from 2013. Then we've got Deoxys by Sean NL. We got Deoxys here. Its hands are like that. It seems to be grabbing the viewer, I guess. About to grab the viewer. Then we got Deoxys by Millipants77 in its attack form. Interesting. Nice image here, a little stylized. Then we've got Deoxys versus Mega Rayquaza by Togetic Isa. So you got this Deoxys in attack form fighting a Mega Rayquaza here. It's very well done. Like the earth in the background. Then we've got Deoxys versus Rayquaza, Tale of Elysium by Hachel. We did this one in the Rayquaza video, but we can do it again. So it's Deoxys versus Rayquaza. This nice image showing that, yeah. Very well done. Then we've got Deoxys by thebomb.com. So we got just simple Deoxys image on this cool background and space. Then we've got Deoxys by Innovator 123. So all the different forms of Deoxys here. That's very well done. Seems to be from September 17th, 2019. Then we've got Deoxys Cosmic Power 2 by Evan Rank. So we've got attack form Deoxys here. All of these different sparkles behind it. It's interesting. I guess it's using cosmic power. Then we've got Deoxys in space. It seems to be speed form Deoxys here, and just in space. Interesting art style. Then we've got this very clearly AI Deoxys by Sylvester 0102. It hardly looks like Deoxys other than the colors. Yeah, not great. Then we've got Deoxys GSC sprites by Axel Comics. So they recreated them as they would look in gold, silver, and crystal. That's very nice. Then we've got Deoxys by Mr. Red Butcher. They're sort of more realistic Deoxys here in the different forms. It says 306 Deoxys, DNA Pokemon, type Psychic. Very well done. And we've got Deoxys Cosmic Power by Evan Rank. So I guess this is the first version of it using Cosmic Power. Yeah, very well done. Then we've got Deoxys Forms by VV the Artist. So yeah, you got all the Deoxys and all its different forms. It's kind of half images to see the difference. Yeah. Then we've got Rayquaza and Deoxys by Mike Man 1337. So got a Mega Rayquaza fighting a Deoxys here. Very well done. Then we've got Deoxys 386 by Captain Pika. This sort of stylized Deoxys here. It says Deoxys number 386. Very well done. Then we got Deoxys normal form by Zawis54. So there's a nice simple image of Deoxys in normal form. Very well done. Then we got Deoxys by Soulicious. So Got this Deoxys here, very kind of stylized. It might be CGI, I can't really tell. It's in its attack form, and it's holding this yellow Pokeball for some reason. So that seems to be the end of the page of search results, so we'll move on. Thanks to everyone who submitted fan art. I'll be streaming tonight at 9 p.m. CDT, Central Daylight Time, where we'll be trying to catch a Latias, Latios, Groudon, and Rayquaza. Get Beldum, and evolve it all the way to Metagross. Tomorrow I'll be beginning Gen 4 by talking about Turtwig. As always, this is my proper outfit, and you'll see me in a few seconds as it's time for Fun Stats! Hello and welcome to the Fun Stats section. If you're new this generation, what we do is we go through all these stats here. We've got a bunch of categories here. Got the Pokemon, that's the Pokemon they're talking about. Footprint, if it has a footprint or not. Color, we've got all the primary color, and then any alternate colors it has. We had to add alternate color 3 this generation because of cast form. Generatios, the generatios. Type, yeah, the types are the types that it is. And these are alternate types. And we got egg groups, so the egg groups. Leveling rate, that's leveling rate. The base friendship and catch, and that is, can you catch all of the Pokemon in any generation? Whether that's now or at any point. In the past, what I've done is I've gone through these different tabs here on the bottom and looked at them and compared them. But now that we're in Gen 3, what I've decided to do is create a PowerPoint instead to help compare them. Might be a little bit easier than having to go between all of them. Might be a little bit faster. So yeah, we'll cut to that now. Hello, I'm down here now, I guess. So this says Fun Stats Gen 3. That's what we're doing. Then we got, can you catch them all? Yes, you can catch all the Pokemon in the first 3 generations at some point in the main games. Yeah, we haven't had a no yet. All 386 Pokemon. Then we got total footprints here. 196, or 69.26% of them have footprints, while 87, or 30.74, do not. And that's the whole total. And the Gen 3, just in Gen 3, 103, or 76.3%, have footprints, and 32, or 23.7%, do not. Okay. Then, footprints by generation. So we can compare them now. Gen 1 has the most amount with footprints, but Gen 2 has the highest percentage at 82%. And Gen 1 has the most amount without a footprint, both in percentage and in number. And you can see, it's 32, 18%, 23%, 76.3%, 82%, and 75%. Yep, then we'll compare the total footprints to Gen 3 footprints. You can see just sort of how different the percentages are. It's 30.74%, this is only 23.7%. So, yeah, and then 69.26% versus 76.3%. Yeah. Total colors with NA, so this is alternate forms of Pokemon that don't have a different color, or Pokemon that don't have alternate forms. So these are the colors of the Pokemon that they gave in the info box, just sort of the official colors. So, for totals, we've got red is 43, or 2.78%, 78, or 5.05%. For blue, yellow is 41, or 2.66%. 42, or 2.72% for green. Black is 20, or 1.3%. Brown is 65, or 4.21%. Purple is 42, or 2.72%. Gray is 37, or 2.4%. White is 26, 1.68%. And pink is 27.175%. So NA is 1,123, or 72.73%, so that's going to be the biggest one. Then, total colors without NA, this is sort of more of the realistic chart here. So red is 43, or 10.21%, blue is 78, or 18.53%, yellow is 41, or 9.74%, green is 42, or 9.98%, black is 20, or 4.75%, brown is 65, or 15.44%. Purple is 42, or 9.98%. Gray is 37, or 8.79%. 26, or 6.18% is for white. And pink is 27, 6.41%. Should have explained this earlier probably, but these are rounded to the nearest 100th place. Then we'll compare the colors with and without NA. So you can see the red, jumps up from that. You can see how different they look. I'm not going to read all the numbers again, but yeah, you can see all that. Then we've got the Gen 3 colors with NA. So, for red, it's 14, or 2.59%. Blue is 33, or 6.11%. Yellow is 10, or 1.85%. Green is 19, or 3.52%. Black is 8, or 1.48%. Brown is 15, or 2.78%. Purple is 9, or 1.67%. Gray is 16, or 2.69%. White is 12, or 2.22%. Pink is 5, or 0.93%. NA is 399, or 73.89%. Without the NA, red is 14, or 9.93%. Blue is 33, or 23.4%. Yellow is 10, or 7.09%. Green is 19, or 13.48%. Black is 8, or 5.67%. Brown is 15, or 10.64%. Purple is 9, or 6.38%. Gray is 16, or 11.35%. White is 12, or 8.51%. And pink is 5, or 3.55%. So the biggest was blue this generation. That's how the biggest. And the one with the smallest, the fewest, was pink Pokemon. Colors by generation, we can compare them. Sorry, you can't really see the thing down there, but you know what colors they're supposed to be. They're color-coded. Yeah, this is with the NA. So, Gen 1 had the most NA. Smallest section was black with 5 Pokemon, or 0.83%. Gen 2, the biggest is NA, of course. And then the smallest is 6, or 1.5%. Gen 3, though, so its biggest is, of course, NA, and then it'll be pink, 5.93%. So, it had less pink than the other two, more white than the other two, more gray than the other two. I guess I changed the purple. It had less purple than Gen 1, but more purple than Gen 2. Although not proportionally, it's less by percentage. There were less brown Pokemon than Gen 1, but more than Gen 2. But proportionally, it is less for them both. There's more black Pokemon than the other two, and therefore, it's higher percentage. Also had more green, which also corresponded to higher percentage. I have less yellows, but lower percentage than Gen 2. I don't know why. Gen 1 doesn't have the percentage. Blue had more than both of them. It has the second highest red by number, but the lowest by percentage. You see a clearer picture here. The same stats, just, without the NA. Yeah. See how much bigger the brown is here. Than any of these guys, how much bigger the blue is than this one, and all that, yeah. Comparing color totals with Gen 3, with NA, you can see how different it looks. Yeah, how different the chart looks. This will be much more obvious on this slide. Of the 43 Pokemon that are classified as red, 14 of them were introduced in Gen 3. Of the 78 Pokemon classified as blue, 33 of them were introduced in Gen 3. Of the 41 classified as yellow, 10 were introduced in this generation. Of the 42 classified as green, 19 were introduced in Gen 3. Of the 20 classified as black, 8 of them were from Gen 3. Of the 65 classified as brown, 15 of them are from Gen 3. Of the 42 Pokemon classified as purple, 9 of them were introduced in this generation. Of the 37 classified as gray, 16 of them were introduced in this generation. Of the 26 Pokemon classified as white, 12 of them were introduced in Gen 3, and of the 27 that are classified as pink, 5 were introduced in Gen 3. Then, comparing the Gen 3 with and without, just kind of see how different those two graphs look. Then the gender ratio. These are all the gender ratios found in the info box. So 1, 0, 0 means that was 1 male to no female. 7, to 1 means 7 males to 1 female. 3 to 1 means 3 males to 1 female. 1 to 1 is 1 male to 1 female. 1 to 3 is 1 male to 3 females. 1 to 7 is 1 male to 7 females. 0 to 1 is 0 males to 1 female, so exclusively female species. And NA is the ones that don't have genders. So 10 or 2.6% for the male-only species. 46 or 11.98% for the 7 to 1s. 12 or 3.13% for the 3 to 1s. 253 or 65.89% for the 1 to 1. That's almost always going to be the highest, evenly split. Yeah. So then 15 or 3.91% for the 1 to 3 females. We still have no 7 to 1s yet. 0 to 1 is 11 or 2.86%. Then NA, gender unknown Pokemon, there are now 37 of those, and 9.64%. And for Gen 3, very similar graph here. 2 or 1.48% is now, there's 1, there are a lot less exclusively male Pokemon this time. 7 to 1 is 14 Pokemon, or 10.37% of the graph. 3 to 1 is 2 Pokemon, or 1.48%. 1 to 1 is 95, or 70.37%. 1 to 3 is 4, or 2.96%. Again, no 1 to 7. And 2 species were exclusively female at 1.48%. Gonna compare the gender ratios by generation, so it has the most even, and then also corresponds to the percentage here. It has equal amount of male exclusives from Gen 2, but that represents a smaller percentage. Yeah, both have less than that one, even combined. It has the second most 7 to 1, but the lowest percentage-wise. As for 3 to 1, that is equal to Gen 2, but again, smaller percentage overall. Then for 1 to 3, has the least amount of 1 to 3 Pokemon. Again, equal 1 to 7. So for exclusively females, it also has the lowest exclusively females. And then it has the highest gender unknown Pokemon with 16 were added. Wow. And then, of course, represents the highest percentage among the 3. Try to fix something, so now my camera will jump around throughout this PowerPoint. Yes, and so, got gender ratio totals. We'll compare that to Gen 3 gender ratio. I had to add some of these boxes so it was more obvious where they belonged. Of the 37, 16 of them were in this generation. Of the 10, 2 of them were in this generation. Of the 46, 14 of them were in this generation. Of the 12, 2 of them were in this generation. Of the 253, 95 were in this generation. Of the 15, 4 of them were in this generation. And of the 11, 2 of them were in this generation. Type totals with NA, so got all these. So, okay, bug, 37 or 1.2%. Dark is 27 or 0.8%. Dragon is 17 or 0.55%. Electric is 28 or 0.91%. Fairy is 20 or 0.65%. Fire is 25 or 0.81%. Flying is 55 or 1.78%. Ghost is 13 or 0.42%. Grass is 44 or 1.42%. Ground is 41 or 1.33%. Ice is 22 or 0.71%. Normal is 60 or 1.94%. Poison is 49 or 1.59%. Psychic is 54 or 1.75%. Rock is 35 or 1.13%. Steel is 21 or 0.68%. Water is 81 or 2.62%. And the NA, in this case, is referring to Pokemon sort of second, that have really won. This is kind of just for fun. It's really just single Pokemon. These are just like the ones that don't have a secondary type. Like this is, yep, including alternate forms. This is all this 2,423 Pokemon I get. Well, includes Pokemon that don't have alternate forms. So yeah, if they hypothetically had them, they wouldn't exist. I don't know. It's weird, but yeah, that makes up 78.47%. The majority first. Now this is a much more accurate graph, though without NA. Bug here at 37.556%. Dark at 27 or 4.06%. Dragon at 17 or 2.56%. Electric at 28 or 4.21%. Fairy at 20 or 3.01%. Fighting at 25 or 3.76%. Fire at 36 or 5.41%. Flying at 55 or 8.27%. Ghost at 13 or 1.95%. Grass at 44 or 6.62%. Ground is 41 or 6.17%. Ice is 22 or 3.31%. Normal is 60 or 9.02%. Poison is 49 or 7.37%. Psychic is 54 or 8.12%. Rock is 35 or 5.26%. Steel is 21 or 3.16%. And water is 81 or 12.18%. So water makes up the majority of the Pokemon. And the minority is Ghost-type Pokemon. There are only 13 in total. Compare them, I guess, with or without, and without any, so see how much different it looks. Yeah. And we've got Gen 3 types with NA, so for just Gen 3, with the NA, Bug is at 14 or 1.3%, Dark is at 12 or 1.1%, Dragon is at 11 or 1.02%, Water is at 4 or 0.37%, Fairy is 6 or 0.56%. Those had to be reclassified as Fairy in Gen 6. They were not Fairy originally. Fighting is 7 or 0.65%. Fire is 8 or 0.74%. Flying is 12 or 1.11%. Grass is 18 or 1.67%. Ground is 14 or 1.3%. Ice is 7 or 0.65%. Normal is 20 or 1.85%. Poison is 5 or 0.46%. Psychic is 20 or 1.85%. Rock is 12 or 1.11%. Steel is 10 or 0.93% rather. Water is 29 or 2.68%. And NA is 865 or 80.09%. But accurately, the typings are Bug at 14.651%, Dark at 12 or 5.58%, Dragon at 11 or 5.12%, Electric, I don't know why it's not yellow, I guess I forgot to make it yellow, 4 or 1.86%, Fairy at 6 or 1.79%, Fighting at 7 or 3.26%, Fire at 8 or 3.72%, Flying at 12 or 5.58%, Ghost is 6 or 2.79%, Grass at 18 or 8.37%, Ground at 14.651%, Ice at 7 or 3.26%, Normal at 20 or 9.3%, Poison 5 or 2.33%, Psychic is 20 or 9.3%, Rock is 12 or 5.58%, Steel is 10 or 4.65%, and Water is 29 or 13.49%. So, majority was Water, and minority was Electric. Then here, we've got comparison. It's all, I don't know, squished together, but so it had the highest Bug-type Pokemon with the highest percentage as well. Dark-type had the highest Dark-type Pokemon and highest percentage of them as well. Dragon, highest of that as well. Highest percentage of that as well. Fairy, it has... it's on par with Gen 1, being lower than Gen 2, but its percentage is higher than Gen 1's. Electric, again, don't know why electric isn't yellow in Gen 2. My guess is that it was probably already a yellow, but when I imported these graphs, it changed colors for some reason. It has the least amount of electric-type Pokemon, with also the lowest percentage of it as well. Fighting has the second highest. Yes, in both number and percentage. Fire, you know what, let's just do it like this. This will be much easier to read. It has the lowest amount of fire-type Pokemon, and the lowest percentage as well. Flying has the lowest amount of flying, and the lowest percentage as well. Ghost, it has the highest amount of ghost Pokemon were added this generation. But, yeah, and the highest percentage as well. The highest amount of grass-type Pokemon were also introduced, with the highest percentage as well. Ground, 6.51%. Has the second highest percentage and amount of Pokemon. Opposite, though, because the number is lower than Gen 1, but higher than Gen 1. With Gen 2 it being lower. Yeah, it's lower than Gen 2. The number is higher than Gen 2, but lower percentage than Gen 2. Ice had the second most ice, and that makes up the second highest percentage as well. It has the second highest amount of normal type Pokemon, but the highest percentage of normal type Pokemon. It has the lowest poison type Pokemon at 5, here, lower, yeah. Which makes it the lowest percentage as well. It has the second highest number of Psychic type Pokemon, but the highest percentage of Psychic type Pokemon. Has the second highest Rock type Pokemon, but the highest percentage. Has the highest amount of Steel type Pokemon, both in percent and number. The second highest Water type Pokemon, and but highest percentage compared to the sort of the types, total types, and Gen 3 with NA. You got all that. We'll do the better one though. Yes, comparing type totals in Gen 3 without the NA. So, of the 37, 14 of them are from this generation. That's Bug. Of the 27 Dark types, there are 12 in this generation. Of the 17 Dragon type Pokemon, 11 of them were introduced in this generation. Of the 28 Electric type Pokemon, 4 of them were introduced in this generation. Of the 20 Fairy type Pokemon, 60, I guess, were introduced in this generation. They had to be reclassified, or otherwise they gained an alternate form that was Fairy type, I guess. Yeah, because not all of these were introduced in this generation. Some of them are the alternate forms. Of the 25, there are 7 of Fighting type. For Fire, of the 36, there's 8. Of the 55 Flying, there's 12 that were introduced in this generation. Of the 13 Ghost-type Pokemon, there's 6 that were introduced in this generation. Of the 44 Grass-type Pokemon, 18 of them were introduced in this generation. Of the 41 Ground-type Pokemon, 14 were introduced in this generation. Of the 22 Ice-type Pokemon, 7 were introduced in this generation. Of the 60 Normal-type Pokemon, 20, a third of them were introduced in this generation. Of the 49 Poison-type Pokemon, 5 were introduced in this generation. Of the 54 Psychic-type Pokemon, 20 were introduced in this generation. Of the 35 Rock-type Pokemon, 12 were introduced in this generation. Of the 21 Steel-types, 10 were introduced in this generation. Of the 81 Water-types, 29 of them were introduced in this generation. Comparing Gen 3 with and without NA, you can see how different those graphs look. Yep. Then egg group total, so these are the egg groups. NA in this case either refers to those that don't have egg groups, like egg group unknown, or who don't have a secondary egg group. So there's 302 of them in total. So monster is 49 or 6.35%. Human-like is 28 or 3.63%. Water 1 is 58 or 7.51%. Water 3 is 19 or 2.46%. Bug is 37 or 4.79%. Mineral is 23 or 2.98%. Flying is 25 or 3.24%. Amorphous is 22 or 2.85%. Field is 102 or 13.21%. Water is 17 or 2.2%. Fairy is 27 or 3.5%. Ditto is still 1 or 0.13%. That's always going to be 1, I think. Grass is 35 or 4.53%. Dragon is 27 or 3.5%. So the highest is, of course, NA. Outside of NA, the highest actual is Field. And the smallest is still Ditto, but excluding Ditto, the smallest is Water 2, it looks like. 3 egg group, 13 or 4.81% of them were monster. Human-like for 13 or 4.81% of them. Water 1 for 21 or 7.78%. Water 3 for 6 or 2.22%. Bug is 14 or 5.19%. Mineral is 11 or 4.07%. Flying is 6 or 2.22%. Amorphous is 11 or 4.07%. Field is 36 or 13.33%. Water 2 is 8 or 2.96%. Fairy is 11 or 4.07%. Ditto still 0. Grass is 12 or 4.44%. Dragon is 14 or 5.19%. And NA is 94 or 34.81%. Of course, it makes the majority, but excluding the NA, the next biggest would be Fields. The smallest, other than Ditto, is a tie between Water 3 and Flying, with 6 of them. Egg group by generation, you can see all these, so... It's the second highest NA in number, but the lowest in percent. Monster is, I guess, it's tied in number with Gen 2 being the lowest, but Gen 2 is higher in percentage than Gen 3. Human-like, I guess there were no... Oh no, it's a different color, that's right, we changed the colors. So, it is the second highest human-like Pokemon, but the highest percentage of it. The second highest Water 1 egg group, but the highest percentage. Water 3 is the second highest in both number and percentage. Bug is the highest number of bug Pokemon were introduced in this generation, but the second highest percentage. Mineral, the highest number of mineral Pokemon were introduced in this generation. It's also the highest percentage, comparatively, you know. 6, so that makes it the lowest number of new flying Pokemon, both number and percentage. Amorphous, the highest number of Amorphous and higher percentage of Amorphous in this generation. We're tied in the number of field Pokemon from Gen 1, being higher than Gen 2, but the percentage is the second highest, being under Gen 2. Water 2 is the highest amount and percentage of Water 2 Pokemon. It's the highest number of Fairy, but the second highest percentage of Fairies after Gen 2. Ditto, of course, is still nothing. It's tied with Gen 2, and lower than Gen 1. Grass, it's the second highest number of Grass egg group Pokemon, but the lowest percentage. It's the highest amount of Dragon egg group, and the highest percentage as well. NA, it has the second highest number, but the lowest percentage of Pokemon were NA. Comparing the total Gen 3. Of the 49 monster egg group Pokemon, 13 of them were introduced in this generation. Of the 28 human-like Pokemon, 13 of them were introduced in this generation. Of the 58 Water 1 Pokemon, 21 of them were introduced in this generation. Of the 19 Water 3 Pokemon, 6 of them were introduced in this generation. Of the 37 Bug Egg Group Pokemon, 14 of them were introduced in this generation. Of the 23 Mineral Pokemon, 11 were introduced in this generation. Of the 25 Flying Pokemon, 6 were introduced in this generation. Of the 22 Amorphous Pokemon, half at 11 were introduced in this generation. Of the 102, 36 Field Pokemon were introduced in this generation. Of the 17 Water Type 2 Pokemon, 8 were introduced in this generation. Of the 27 Fairy Pokemon, 11 were introduced in this generation. Of the 1 Ditto, none were introduced in this generation. Of the 35 Grass Pokemon, 12 of them were introduced in this generation. Of the 27 Dragon, 14 were introduced in this generation. And of the 302 NAs, there's 94 of them. Leveling rate totals, so this is the leveling rates, how fast you can get them. So in this one, we were introduced to the fluctuating and erratic categories as the first generation to have them. 147, or 38.18% of the total Pokemon are medium fast. Erratic, 16, or 4.16%. Fluctuating is 12, or 3.12%. Medium slow is 96, or 24.94%. Fast is 38, or 9.87%. And slow is 76, or 19.74%. So, medium fast is still the highest, and the lowest is fluctuating. Gen 3 leveling rate. So 28, or 20.9% were medium fast, 16, or 11.94% were erratic, 12, or 8.96% are fluctuating, 32, or 23.88% is medium slow, 15, or 11.19% are fast, and 31, or 23.13% are slow. So medium slow is the highest in this generation, and the lowest is fluctuating. That makes sense, it's a new one. Leveling rate by generation, so you can see how there's absolutely zero erratic or fluctuating in these. They're represented by these zeros here. So this one's obviously the highest for those categories. As for medium fast, it is the lowest in both number and percent. Medium slow, it is the second highest. It has the second highest fast leveling rate, above Gen 1 but below Gen 2. And all same with the percentage. Is the highest number and percentage of slow Pokemon. Compare the leveling rate totals with Gen 3. So of the 147 medium fast Pokemon, 28 of them were introduced in this generation. 16 and 12 erratic and fluctuating. They, of course, were introduced in this generation. Of the 96 medium slow Pokemon, 32 were introduced in this generation. Of the 38 fast Pokemon, 15 were introduced in this generation. And of the 76 slow Pokemon, 31 were introduced in this generation. Base friendship totals. So this is the total, the friendship. I believe we were introduced to 90 this time, so this has had to change a little bit. Yeah, it was introduced. So 70, that makes up the majority, almost always will. Most Pokemon are 70. 327, or 84.72%. 5, or 1.3% of 140 have 140 base friendship. 42 Pokemon with 35 base friendship, which makes up 10.88% of the Pokemon. There are 7 Pokemon with 0 base friendship, which makes up 1.81% of the Pokemon so far. 3, or 0.78% have 100 friendship, and 2, or 0.52% have 90 friendship. So, of course, it being the new one, it has the smallest amount. In Gen 3, the base friendship, 103 Pokemon have 70 friendship, which makes up 76.3%. There were no 140s this time. 35 was 25, or 18.52%. 0 is 4, or 2.96%. 100 is 1, or 0.74%, and 90 is 2, or 1.48%. It has the second highest Pokemon with base friendship 70, but the lowest percentage, has the lowest percentage of 140 with nothing, has the highest amount of Pokemon with 35 base friendship, which also makes the highest percentage. It has the highest number and percentage of Pokemon with 0. It's tied universally. Each generation has 100, but I think it's the lowest percentage. It's kind of hard to tell because I don't think I can... There is like a... Yeah, because Gen 1 for some reason doesn't display the 100th place. It's like they're full numbers for some reason. And then of course 90 was introduced in this generation, so it has the highest of all of them. Okay. So, where the base friendship totals with Gen 3. So of the 327 Pokemon with a base friendship of 70, 103 of them were introduced in this generation. Of the 5 Pokemon with 140, none were introduced in this generation. Of the 42 with 35, 25 of them were introduced in this generation. Of the 7 with 0 friendship, 4 were introduced in this generation. Of the 3 with 100, 1 was introduced, a third in this generation, and of course 2 of 2 for 90. And that is the end of this section. Join me tomorrow as we start Gen 4. Bye!